Hey guys, welcome to another live today. Guess who I brought this time?
Hey everyone.
There
Um,
he is.
wait, how many lives have you done today, Sonny?
Just the one earlier. Yeah.
Okay.
Then my husband, he wanted snuggy time, so I was like,
Oh,
let me just go. I needed a nap anyway on there, um, and then Alexa, because I remember saying I was going to drop her the link so she might pop on in just a little bit, but she's like, "Oh, blacklisted, eh?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, no." "Oh shit, right." Anyways, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving today. Thanks, Outback. I love that intro, and this was my thing earlier when I went like whatever, like rogue on Adam. And so sorry, he's kind of like the gnome there in the bottom doing like this. So I just told him to pretend like that's him right there on there.
yeah. I think I'm the acorn up there at the top.
You could be the acorn. Maybe I'm the turkey, you know. You can be the other turkey on there. But anyways, you guys, I really do hope you guys had a Thanksgiving. Adam, what did you do for Thanksgiving?
I went to my brother's house, and we just got back a little bit ago, so I've not done much today. So,
Yeah, good dinner
but
though, yeah?
I hope that everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Sure. Yes, I did. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. Oh,
Absolutely.
doesn't you don't count because it's not your Thanksgiving.
Well, I was going to say though, because it would be different if my husband had Thanksgiving in the UK, but Alexa, her husband's Canadian, right? And of course, she's American. And so it's kind of like for him, Thanksgiving dinner. And then this is like Thanksgiving dinner because, when you're Canadian, you don't want to lose your roots, right? Thank goodness I think it's the only holiday really like that. Um, when it comes to a feast and stuff like that. so, but yeah, so um, I was just, all I was just wondering is if you were overstuffed like most people do, and then, you know, they start letting it out through turkey farts and stuff like that, or if you were going to make it into your chair from overstuffing yourself, but you didn't.
Well, I mean, I don't eat turkey, um,
That's true.
so I did
Doesn't
have
mean you're not turkey.
I did make a fake turkey myself though, which meant
You?
I bought it at the store, and then I
Yeah.
put it in the freezer, and then I took it out of the freezer, and I took
Oh,
the wrapper
wow.
off of it. I put it
Yeah.
into a baking dish. I cooked
That's
it for an
hard.
hour
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
How'd you do it?
Uh, I
Like
wrapped it
all
in
of that right
foil,
there. Yeah.
and I brought it to my brother's house, and then I thawed the vegetarian gravy and poured it
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. You lost me at about the
Yeah,
vegetarian gravy stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice processed fake vegetarian turkey dinner.
I love turkey. It's just that it's really bad though when you buy like roast or turkey and then it's like flavorless and stuff sometimes, you know. I remember my twin when we had Thanksgiving. She had this roast and turkey, and both of them ended up being flavorless. You know when it's
Well,
watery.
now imagine a vegetarian version
No, thanks.
where it's
Anyway,
where it's where it's flavorless and dry. No, kidding. No, it was actually pretty good. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say I couldn't imagine though myself. I'm a meat and potatoes person through and through. I love my meat and potatoes. Um, like your ham, turkey, chicken, stuff like that.
Right. I
Um,
always my thing. I don't. We don't want to prolong. Everyone's probably sitting there full and like not wanting to talk about food for
re-
once. But my favorite with Thanksgiving has always been the sides. Like I've always
oh,
loved the little like dollar rolls, the mashed
oh,
potatoes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the macaroni and cheese, green bean casserole, whatever I like all the sides. I
Applesauce.
don't even need a protein really. Just give me the
Okay.
carbs.
Do you guys like pork chops and applesauce? I love applesauce. Like that's a thing for
Hmm,
me because I like hot and cold. Like that's why I like
okay.
salads too. Like I like hot and cold together, and
Well,
I mix my
do you
stuff
so,
together.
Sunny, do you like the cranberries with like the can rings on them?
Do I like the what?
You know, like the cranberries that you literally like out of the can, and like they can
Yeah.
still have like, the rings on them from the can.
Yeah, no, hell no. No, 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 no. Don't like I like cranberry juice. You know what? Let me put it this way. Cranberry as a kid repulsed me, but then so did broccoli and stuff. As I've gotten older, although that cranberry stuff has like a soury taste, I guess it's not too bad. Just a little bit of it, you know. Like I've never been a big stuffing person either. I
Yeah,
like applesauce, applesauce. But anyway, filet
yeah.
mignon. So, just quickly, guys. Um, thank you again for joining the live, and again, hope you guys had a great dinner with your family and friends, and whatever you did. And if you were lonely and hung out with me earlier, then so be it. Maybe you weren't lonely and still said to your husband, "I'm gonna go hang out with Sunny, regardless if you're here." Oh, hey,
Well,
buddy.
and at this point, everyone's tired of their families, so probably anyone that's like,
Famously Unfamous is in the house. Hey, buddy. You guys, if you guys don't know his channel, he likes to do follow the scanner stuff and
yeah,
do lives and stuff like that
boots on the ground.
on
We
there.
we appreciate Famously Unfamous. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I don't even know that. Is he even a mod? I need to give him mod rights or something because just so he can drop his link when he's in here. Um, no, he is a moderator. There, he's already won anyway. And I thought he was, but I can't see it in the chat here. But yeah, so hi Maureen, how are you? Um, Cranberry jelly, the slurp of it falling out of the can.
Yeah, it's like that.
Spam. It almost reminds me of spam. Anyways, I'm just gonna play just a quick little video. It's like a minute long, okay? Just kind
Okay.
of like like a little turkey thing, basically. So let me take down Charmaine's comment there, and it's just about a minute long, okay, guys? So I'm just gonna hit play. Just a little thing, that's all. So those little things that mean so much, right, Adam? Right, Adam.
Sure.
Okay. Cheer me up if I Okay, that was it. I'm gonna here stop. Whoops, I hit stop cam. Wrong thing. Anyways, that was just here. Let me put it back. Now let's look at the tractor for a minute. Anyways, it was just a little video for you
That was
guys
sweet.
in America. They're celebrating, and of course, for Abby and Libby and Robert Kyle Forston, the gentleman, like the messages we'll be talking about tonight. But at the end of the day, do respect. And for anyone that didn't watch Fig Sov's video that came out today, I really urge you to watch it if you have not. And if you did, I know that Adam, you didn't watch it yet, have you?
Of
You
course
haven't
I know.
watched.
I've seen a little bit of it, but I have not watched all of it.
Yeah,
But
like I said, great video.
I have, I have a lot of faith in the fact that I'm sure it's incredible, and I will watch it. I put it on last night. I'll be honest. I put it on
Last
when I was
night.
going. I'm sorry.
Oh, last night when it wasn't actually uploaded.
No. This morning, I was laying in bed and I put it on and I fell back to sleep. And
Mm.
then when I woke back up, I had to get up, so I couldn't watch all of it. So I've seen like 7 minutes of it.
I know it's been a busy day for you and stuff like that, you know. But anyways, it's a great video. Like I said, it's not very often. I just think it was a well laid out video, food for thought, absolutely, for different things, regardless. And yeah, anyways, great video, Fig. Of course, though, Adam, when I said, "Hey, Fig, do you want to pop onto the live for a few minutes?" Like when I did that, totally avoided the question, Fig. Totally. And he's like, I said sorry in there. A shout out to you. I said sorry at the 37 point, or no, 31.27 mark.
Did I get a shout out?
No, he doesn't care
No.
about you. You didn't care
He
about
told
me.
me. He told me the whole video was a shout out to me.
Is that what he said? Is that what the wink was for at the end? It's for
Yeah.
you, Adam.
I said, as long as you give Tom,
Mm.
you don't have to give me any credit.
You're kind of like this.
Okay.
You're kind of like the leftovers.
Hey,
Yeah.
I like the position I'm in.
All right. So, yeah, you guys, we're gonna bring up the messages. Actually, do you just want to explain quickly, Adam, what we're gonna be pulling up here? Which I tried to pull up earlier on the live, and I was like, okay, I guess I forgot to put in the word comments to bring up comments because I was lost.
Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about some stuff last night, and I've had these messages for a long time now, and I mentioned it last night, and Sunny was like, "Oh, you didn't send those to me," so I didn't know Sunny was on a live earlier today, and so when I got up and I was kind of going about my morning, well, I think it was like noon by that point, but I was like, oh hey, I forgot, I was like, oh, I forgot I mentioned that to Sunny, so I had sent her the link that I'm not a techie person at all, but someone that that knows much more than I about technology shared a website with me that is able to retrieve Reddit messages even if an account has been deleted or the posts have been deleted. And so when I got this like a month ago, I had looked through Lordless Warriors Reddit posts, and we've shown a few of them. We've talked about a few of them on the live. I have not read the entire list. Still today, I've not read all of them because there were like 866, I think, and I it's between 800 and 900. I can't remember exactly, but this morning I was like, oh, Sunny, here's what I was talking about when I said I have all of these Reddit posts.
I know it was like my thing was going off, bing, bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, and
I didn't know she was on a live, but this is nothing. This is a website anyone can access. I think it's called Push Pull or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another. Ivy Rose says remove it is another one. And these can be a little temperamental as far as sometimes they'll go up, sometimes the websites will come down. But this is the one that I've had. It's called Pull Push.
And I was gonna say,
like I said,
I'm not
I don't
gonna
want 900 Reddit posts.
Hi, Michelle. I was gonna say we're not basically. Adam's gonna be starting at whatever point. I think he's gonna be starting around July on there. Now, this is too small to try to bring this up and stuff like that. So we're mostly just gonna listen to some of the Reddit posts from again from he went by the name Kyle, but Robert Kyle FORTSON,
Right.
and so but this is just to show you the site, and I'll drop the link in there as well, like Adam had given me earlier. And so all you need to do is when you say click on that there, you have to write go and put comments in that
Right.
search for a second.
And this, it only gives a screenshot of the comment. So sometimes you don't know the context of what he's referring to or commenting on. So that's one of the reasons I haven't paid a ton of attention to it, is because you can't go through and piece together every little piece of context, like what post he's responding to,
Yeah. Yeah.
why, and then the other responses. It's literally just gives you his comments.
Yeah.
But his account was deleted, so I mean, it's the closest you can really get, unless someone has all of the actual screenshots from
Yeah. So
when the account was left, which we have lots of. But
Adam will read some, and anytime Adam you want to stop and talk about one of them that he has said, like a bigger one or something like that, then we'll do that. But go on, buddy.
well, so like I know I thought we could probably start around July.
Yeah.
There's the first the first one that I saw that popped up actually is on Friday, June 30th. And this one says, and this was posted in the Delphi, because some of these were posted in different subreddits. This was posted in the Delphi trial subreddit. And Robert's comment says, I know 0 people in law enforcement that would have knowledge of this. I don't know what he's referring to. It was rumor and innuendo from around here that I don't know the veracity of, but it did seem like info was coming from someone that knew the details to some extent. The next one, again, is on Friday, June 30th, and it's a comment. He says, yeah, I don't disagree that it is quite the coincidence, and I wouldn't be surprised if one or both were tied to it, but I just don't see it with what we know so far. I know there's probably plenty we don't know, though, so I'm not closed off to if I saw more evidence. Currently, as we sit here, I think Rick acted alone. Then again, June 30th, in the Delphi murders subreddit, he says, the only rumor I think we have heard of is about staging that seemed remotely credible was that the bodies, or one of them, were covered in sticks and there may have been a cultish type emblem left. I think I saw both stick arranged that way or it carved in a tree there. Everything else hasn't rang true or feasible. The lots of stuffed bears or a large one or other extravagant ideas seemed to imagination running wild for people, though, heard vague rumors. I did hear some recent Barbara McDonald Q&A where she said she thought I've said the crime scene wasn't typical would make sense eventually when all the details came out. I didn't see a way to verify that Q&A was legit. McDonald, since it was on Discord and it was in August. Not sure if she has commented recently.
Still too small, isn't it? I was trying to make it bigger, but I don't think I was just trying to make it bigger so that people, but it's just too small, guys.
That's what he said.
That's what she said. So we're just going to follow along. Okay, fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough.
And then there are a couple I'm gonna because he was a member of different subreddits that didn't have anything to do with he was with some military ones and other ones. So I might skip over a few as I go along.
Yeah, just tell me the date so that I can follow along with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one on Sunday, July 2nd, in the Libby and Abby Reddit subreddit. He says, you have any insight on the Brandon Lawson case? They found remains consistent with his, and then we haven't heard anything since. I'm thinking the investigation must be tight-lipped for some reason. We aren't privy to it, or else they would just say what happened. Then on July 2nd in the Libby and Abby forum, he says, thanks. They found his clothes and some remains right by, like within eyesight almost, where he went missing. Oh, they're talking about Brandon Lawson again. So I'm going to skip that one.
Yeah.
He's talking about Brandon Lawson there. There's some. He was in Idaho as well. He followed several true crime cases. So there's several in the Moscow Murders subreddit. So on Monday, July 3rd, he says, listen, I know my friends, what they look. I'm sorry, Sonny?
My birthday, July 3rd.
Yeah. What they look like, walk like, sound like, and how they act. Had I had this conversation with them that close to that crime, and that is what they expected to get me to ignore, that is them in this video, still being circulated even after you tell me you are clear that I'm telling the cops they need to speak to you. I would need to risk my friendship in order to make sure someone that would do that to another human is caught and taken off the streets. And that's a good example of we don't know the context of what he's talking about in that post.
Oh, there's a lot of these July 3rds. I'm not sure where yours is. I was trying. Oh, there it is. You're at this one. Okay. Okay.
There's Moscow murders. Moscow murders. July 4th, he says on Libby and Abby subreddit, yeah, that is definitely a real possibility. You can never apply reason to someone under drug influence or having a mental health breakdown. Delphi trial on July 4th, he says there's current belief on all sides there is no connection between Richard Allen and Tony Klein, Kagan Klein combo. That would be news to some people. There was a post on July 4th on the Delphi trial subreddit that he says, this is a very poignant question to ask in regards to this specific topic. Those statements from witnesses we haven't seen, and all the discovery too, by the way. This thing is going to get more wild before it gets more clear, I'm afraid. Tuesday, July 4th, he says, how do you know he doesn't fit the description given by a witness? We haven't seen those statements aside from what was put in the PCA. On Delphi Docs on July 4th, he says, I think this will become clear the moment we get the statements that are still being held back. Delphi trial, he says, and yet what? If you know of a connection, then by all means point it out, as I'm sure everyone involved would love that. On Delphi Docs, he says, I think that the two different groups of credible and necessary witnesses have two different descriptions. Someone is obviously dead set on the perp being a younger male. I think they are mistaken. The only positive is that I believe they all said that the man on the bridge is who they saw. I'm trying to verify that now because words can be tricky. In the Delphi trial, he says, I'm just pointing out that all we have is the prosecution statement on what the witnesses said. We have not seen their actual statements that they wrote or were recorded from saying. Maybe they didn't all agree on what the guy looked like beyond the clothes. It's possible the group of young girls saw him in passing. The one lady saw him standing out by a bridge platform, and the final lady saw him driving by him. Their descriptions might not match completely, and that could produce two different sketches. On July 4th, he posted in Delphi Murders, it's the 19 other documents that hold the keys to the two approaches from prosecutors and defense. The statements without the filter. Also, the discovery items go beyond this, even because then you get into the people they talk to that don't go to the case being presented by the prosecution. We got a long way to go, people. July 4th. So who is compiling the tips? That would solve the issue of misfiling, I would think. What was the statement written on? Official documents or scrap paper? How casual was this? Well, Dula, can you tell us? July 4th, again, he says on Libby and Abby, it's out there, but it's all rumors. The interviews that stayed sealed are a big key. Then you have all the discovery stuff that isn't associated with Rick. There's a lot to this that we don't know. I have said my opinion, but this thing is far from over, if you ask me. See, and this is kind of the point where I feel like he's starting to granted, hindsight is 20/20, but knowing now that we know he was privy to information that was being leaked through the ex-defense team of Richard Allen. My interest in this was trying to find out kind of when I noticed in his post that those
started changing.
Little hints started to come up, and I'm starting to see them as early as July 4th. But that's just my opinion.
Can you just answer Ivy's? She says, I forget, is there evidence that FORTSON and Westerman were friends prior to the following Delphi? I don't think so, right?
No. Mm-hmm. Other than they both have a military background. Westerman, I know that, what he did was not right. But I mean, the guy served, I think it was 5 tours in the Middle East. So I mean, both of these guys have seen some incredibly different things or incredibly difficult things in their military career. So I'm sure that can bond people. On July 4th, again, he says in Libby and Abby, that's kind of my point. I don't trust their source, and finding out the one group that was collecting all this stuff should be pretty easy for investigative reporters. I'm sure we know who he's talking about there. Libby and Abby, he says on July 4th, I didn't blame anyone in case that wasn't clear. If anything, I agree with you on what you said there. Nothing about it. Oh, that was Moscow Murders. Libby and Abby, he says, sources are only as good as their information. I think there were several problems with this statement that compounded to add confusion. I don't know who ultimately entered what info into what database, but it was that information that was confused or incomplete. Then I would say that it is a major issue that could cause a serious delay. Based on what I have heard from the MS folks, I think they aren't fully tracking on this particular issue among several others, but we shall see. And then this next post is interesting. July 5th. And remember, we did not have the memorandum. We did not have the memorandum yet. But all this comment says is Richard Whiteman. And where have we heard that?
Well, the 136-page memorandum.
Remember with Doolin talking about the way it was put in the notes. So I just found that interesting that comment, all it says is Richard Whiteman. On Wednesday, July 5th, again, he says in the Delphi trial, this is the right train of thought. July 5th, again, he says, I don't think that it was near of a match because they would have got a hit in some way. Maybe some combo of his name with something else that would be needed in a statement like that. City, state, alias, street, employer, club, Richard Whiteman, Alan Whiteman, something like that. Delphi Murders, she says, I know highly intelligent and capable police officers, guys that just meet the expectations you want. And I also know guys that are nothing more than muscle and confidence. You get a full array of folks in every career field. My experience shows me that a bachelor's degree does not make one smart, and it isn't even a great way to gauge if someone has a well-rounded education. I agree. It simply tells you that they met the requirements to earn that degree. I have come into contact with people at all levels of education, and some are most accomplished educationally are absolute twits. Oftentimes, these people are given distractions to keep them busy while they work, is done by the capable producers. I have a degree from a major university, and I'm far more skilled in other areas than I am in my field of study. It might be a good indicator that the person is relatively competent and at least capable of learning, but is not an indicator of intelligence, if you ask me. I'm not a cop, and my pay would be considered great by most, but I can argue it isn't. Haha. But some of us do things in life for the greater good. We look around and we see there aren't that many capable people to fill certain roles, and we step up because we believe in what we do and who we are helping. I would imagine. Oh, I'm sorry.
When you're finished reading that one, Charmaine just gifted 10 memberships. So
I would imagine the same can be said for many police officers. You can mix no matter the career field. You look at nursing, they're amazingly talented lifesavers, and there are people that can't even handle drawing blood, doing paperwork, or having a conversation that gets the information needed to the doctors.
Thank you. Okay.
Perfect.
Really wish I played the Tommy song for that one. So, Charmaine, thank you so much. I'm just going to call out the 10 people that got gifted memberships from Charmaine. So make sure you give her a thank you on that. So let's see here. Oh, there we go. So Purple Rose, Pokemon Star, JD Bambara, Coffin Daffer Socks, Sabina, Lisa Sharp, Well, there's a funny name right there. Art of Dumb Function. Hmm. Heather Brown, love to acre and all the shirts. And oh, did I say that right? I think that was Purple Rose. Yeah, that should have been everyone there. So congratulations, you guys. It, it'll play it 10 times if I allow it to. On there. So congratulations again. Thank Charmaine for her
Thank you
generosity.
so much, Charmaine.
Yeah, I think that's obvious, Mustang, to be
Right.
honest.
Hey, Sunny, I need to go grab my phone charger.
Oh,
I'm gonna let
yeah,
you read a few, okay?
we're just gonna no, you know what? We're just gonna party this out.
I'll be back.
Okay, we're just gonna party this out for a second. On there, I just feel naked without the border and stuff like that on there. Um, Hi Trinity, how are you? Sharon, you're probably just loving this. You're like, yes. How many lives are you gonna keep doing lately, Sonny? You know it. You know it. What is it? Best dessert. Watching Sonny and Adam in comfy PJs after everyone has left. A nice cup. Oh, a nice cup of tea. Great surprise having you on again today. Absolutely on there. Um, Hi, Marion. Bismoose. You know we like those. What is it? I want to call them onion rings on there. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hi, Diana. Oh, I love Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. So, luckily enough, I think usually like Walmart has diet Mountain Dew because, diabetes, right? I probably shouldn't have even diet anything of that stuff, but whatever on there. But thank you, Diana. Happy Thanksgiving. It's a Crime and Shame fans. Hello, Espen and Sunny in chat on there. Prime. Yeah. Yes, onion rings are the bomb, but depends where you get them. That be true, Bismo. That be true on there. My, you know what? Just because we're just waiting here for a second, but I always kind of get there's. I kind of usually get salt and vinegar, ketchup, are kind of like the two main ones I always get for chips. Because I'm more of a chip person than the chocolate person. And for drinks, probably my all time favorite though drink is cream soda. Has to be cream soda for me on there. Mm, 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 mm. Feel so naked. You guys can't even read this stuff unless you probably zoom in. Makes me want to bring my border back. Let me see if I can bring my border back. Yeah, because you guys can't read that anyway. Just feeling naked without it for some reason on there. Anyways, love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving to, like I said, the American friends. Charmaine, thank you so much. You've given a lot of people a lot of gifts to be able to use the emoticons and stuff like that. You know, yes, force them, Charmaine. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. um, Ever had red cream soda? No. Tell me about it. No. I seen another comment here. Oh, who are those texts from? The man arrested? No. The man that, right, took his life. Robert Kyle Forston, sadly. It's too bad. It honestly, it's too bad. But, um, you know, obviously it happened. But
Yeah.
for the family and everybody, like, it's just too bad that somebody really felt that need. Charmaine is so generous. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was telling her
And
today, I was like, chill, go have a rubber ducky bath. Go play with your rubber ducky in the bathtub.
And today's got to be an especially difficult day because one, it's so fresh, and two, I mean,
Absolutely.
this guy had a young daughter and a wife, and I know that his family is going through hell. Um, and so anything like that we're talking about, I think that what he did was wrong, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean he was a bad person.
Right.
No indication of him being a bad person, and my heart goes out to his family, and any pain he was going through.
Yep. Yep. I don't honestly take any of these people. I don't take Mark Roberts. I don't take any of them for being bad people. I really feel like they thought that they were trying to do something for the case in a sense, and it might be definitely what passing the sick and twisted mark of using the photos and putting those out there.
Right.
But I don't think genuinely, in a sense, that these people are necessarily bad as much as people do weird things and crazy things. But this last thing wasn't a good thing.
No.
It just wasn't. But I don't think that these people are evil
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
No. And I agree, Charmaine. Charmaine says, honestly, when someone exits themselves, the family is left with so many questions and are devastated no matter what. And I agree. My heart goes out to them as well.
Absolutely.
So should I start? Should I read a few more of these?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot. So Sunny's going to have to help me eventually.
Yeah, you just tell me when. Like, let me just find our spot there. Let me just turn off my.
The next one. This is July 7th. Delphi trial subreddit, and some of these are frustrating because it's like you want to know what he's responding to, but but because and it'll send you if you go one by one, it'll send you the back to the actual Reddit website. So I mean, you can get a little bit of context if you really go to each one. But Delphi Trial says, I see what you are saying because they really don't have to place him at the scene since he placed himself there. So do they want it for another reason? I could see that, or maybe they are just being careful and ensuring they can show he was present even if he recants that. Hence the 12 to 1:30 instead of 1:30 to 3:30. And then we've got a couple. He was in a making murder subreddit, Moscow murders. Monday, July 10th, he says, yep, as easy as it is for us to see that day and how it played out with the evidence, it's really easy for him to see it because he experienced it. So as he read their account, the times, the walk from the CPS building to the bridge, passing the group of kids, the spotting on platform 1, the time gap after that, the spotting on the escape, the gun, the video, the audio, the stuff in the discovery that isn't even public about the crime scene, he realized they saw him in those documents, saw through him, saw him different than everyone else, the monster that committed this crime. He broke. After bottling it up for 6 years, he finally broke, and he was not relieved by it. Again, on Monday the 10th, he says, how aggressive would you get with Liggett? He tried to visit your client in prison, and the reason is unknown as far as I know. I would think between that and denying the transfer, this is where the tension is going to get high. Might be a rough go in there for at least the sheriff based on the mess that is the investigation. Delphi Murders, again on the 10th, he says, I can only speak in terms of what I've heard, which doesn't really work with backing it up with a reference, but I was always under the impression that the young bridge guy sketch came from the witness that saw the suspect on the bridge giving a description of a younger person. This could be a major issue for the prosecution at trial, if the witness is unwavering here, meaning Betsy Blair. The prosecution could still frame it with her saying that she described BG and said that BG is who she saw, but is just mistaken on BG being younger. However, that has to be presented well, or it's trouble. And that was posted twice.
Yeah.
So then on Delphi Murders, it says, there is a lot of stuff in the discovery that we don't know, I'm sure. Remember, we only have what is relevant to Alan, and that stuff is all filtered as the police and prosecution see fit. Things can happen that would change the speedy trial thing at any moment, possibly. Comment. Agreed. It isn't uncommon, and although I haven't tested it myself, I did see in here where someone couldn't get a tip submitted and was turned away by other agencies as well. Now, I do know that person, so take it with a grain of salt. Strictly hearsay, but it is my understanding that nobody involved in any side believes there are two linked at this time. Things change, and there are a lot of facts that we don't know. I'm going to read one more, and then I'm going to let you read a couple of them, Sunny.
Okay.
I have no idea. I go back and forth, but I usually land on no. I wouldn't be surprised either way. The word I heard on the follow-up was obviously much like everyone else. The tip was lost. However you interpret that. I also heard that it was a scrap sheet of paper, and that may have caused an issue. Some have speculated they reversed his names, but I don't think that would do it. I think they combined two pieces of info, like part of his name and street, for example. Richard Whiteman, Alan Whiteman. That seems explainable to me as being possible, and also would make it hard to track him down. I could be wrong, but that is my guess based on what the idea of the wrong name being used. And I just quickly want to say here, like, we heard on it July 5th, he just commented Richard Whiteman for no reason. Here on July 10th, he comments again saying he thinks that the reason the tip got lost was because they listed Richard Allen's name as Richard Whiteman, or as he said, Alan Whiteman. We didn't know that at this point.
Well,
but clearly Robert FORTSON did. So if Mitch Westerman did not go into that conference room until August 1st, then how did Robert FORTSON on July 5th know the name Richard Whiteman?
Let me ask you something.
This is the main reason why I've been saying all along that I think that this was not an isolated incident. This was something that was going on.
Adam, let me ask you something because it's bugging me in my head. Remember when it made it to the news about the misfiling of it? Did we hear it on the news when that all came out?
The first time we ever, to my knowledge, heard the actual name Richard Whiteman.
Right.
Which, for anyone that's Richard Allen, and he lived on Whiteman.
Was in the 136, you figure?
Right. And I don't know. I can't remember the page number it's on.
No,
but
I mean,
if this guy is multiple times in July saying Richard Whiteman, and Westerman didn't apparently go into that conference room and take those pictures until the first date we have in the affidavit for his arrest was August 1st. This was a month before that.
Okay, so it says Doolin was so sloppy in his drafting this report that he put Richard, and this is from, the 136 memorandum, that he put Richard Allen's name into the system as Rick Allen Whiteman before being forced to sell their house and move away and blah, blah, blah. So that's when it's on page 132 at the very top for anyone that wants to go back to it. Says, which shows a DNR officer Dan Doolin, different. Yeah. So that's 132. Okay. For that, guys, in case you want to go back and check that out. I agree with you, Adam. Michelle says, and then losing the tip is one thing. It doesn't explain. Right. No, exact. Well, you know, the thing with that though is that well, like maybe Dan didn't Doolin didn't know him personally beyond that time, right? Did he? Did he know him?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because meaning if you don't have a name to look up, and you can't find that file and it's just kind of seems to have vanished somewhere, but you would, I mean, obviously there's no organization going on because there should have been a box and, type of thing. But it's one of those things that if you don't even have the name in there correctly, and out of all those boxes, where's this file somewhere, you
Right.
know? So that's basically what it sounds like to me has happened. That, you know I mean, it still seems strange that, in 2019, like on Fig's video, they're asking for the person who was parked at the CVS building or CPS building, to come forward, and he doesn't come forward then or anything like that. um yeah, so it almost sounds like that they just simply lost track of this file. Nobody knew where the heck it was, because they filed it wrong. But the thing is, even if it was under Allen, like someone would have to remember that name. And so you still think it would be in the filing of interviews of however they did it, whether it's Whiteman or Allen or Pickle Juice or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Anyways.
I mean, and I agree with Ivy when she says they probably were referring specifically to the photo leak. But I mean, I think that this clearly shows that there were outside parties being given information from the defense, or people connected to the defense prior to August 1st. And, I think that Westerman had access to this information and was disseminating it to Robert Fortson before August.
Okay, so let's see. Probably
I
because
mean,
yeah,
that's
I'm
a pretty specific thing to put,
right.
Out there.
Maybe not right. I mean, do you think that they could? I don't know. Pull up a date. I just think it just goes to me to all the sloppiness that we've seen from our perception of how this case has been handled from the get go. To be honest with you. Okay. Do you want me to
Yeah, I'll let you read
start?
a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. I think you finished off on this one here. Um, let's see. I don't know about enough about. Let me see. Did you read that
Yeah,
right? Okay.
that's the next.
Did you read that one?
No, I did not.
Okay. So I don't know enough but I'm certain that he will likely be a target in the examination of the investigation by the defense, which he will surely answer for when deposed. I do think that there are serious issues simply based on the fact that the guy about to stand trial tried to essentially turn himself in on day one and went 6 years. So is unfair criticism? I do not believe it is. And then he says, man, the fact is the brutal, no matter how many times I hear it, I just can't believe that statement was never in front of the people conducting the investigation. Um, True, heard it wasn't the right name anyways, and I'm 95% sure on that. Um, so some here speculated that they had his name mixed up, Richard Allen, but I am more leaning towards some mixture of his name and another piece of information that would be on a statement. And an example I have previously was something like Richard Whiteman, and or Alan Whiteman, and maybe writing down his name and street. It was transferred wrong by whoever interpreted the notes. It's all just conjecture, but either way, I feel like the haste or organization of the statement is what caused many of the problems. Could be totally off base too. I don't see it, but I could have missed it. CRR, I guess that's possible for sure, but just not what I personally have been able to find. My guess is how I interpreted the scenario, but again, I have seen nothing with my own eyes, and so I will stick with I don't know. Seems like this alias is just as likely, if not more likely, since it's already associated with him. But I'll stick with my hunch until I see it wrong in black and white. Some people don't. No, that's a different thing. Depositions. There's a lot of those to go through. My DC and TL go to their accounts to the other week. Not sure what that means. No, she's likely said person. It's a phrase she used, who take loving their dogs and cats to an almost unhealthy level. I'm guessing she said he's my person, exactly as it was reported. Oh, okay. Who said that again? Was it Kathy Allen? Yeah, or Kathy? He's my person.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what she apparently mouthed to Richard at was that the June 19th hearing, I think, maybe.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly when, but yeah. Don't forget that they sat on this opportunity for years. Um, that's Moscow. The judge has already gave the defense grief for showing up with nothing but examples from other states. So we will see. I'm guessing the decision by the Indiana Supreme Court will be a factor. Please lay out the evidence of an inappropriate relationship between the judge and the governor. Doesn't change the Scion ruling. That's July 15th. Okay, so I'm on the record. I'll go through it again when I have time. But the judge did kind of dismiss Rosie because of his references being from all other states. That's not what Travis was talking about before, remember? He had a retort, and honestly, I thought the judge was a little much in how she communicated to the defense. I see that a lot from people in that world. Being your own biggest fan. Being your own biggest fan seems to be a common character trait in the legal community. I'm not going to lie. I think that's definitely partially true. Also, yes, Turner is going to allow for this to be put to the jury to decide if the hurdles you listed elsewhere are cleared. My concerns on the COC stuff goes to the news report interview with Tobe having a 40 cal sitting on his desk like a message. I'm hoping that nobody was dumb enough to use the actual bullet. And just tell me when you want to interject, Adam, on these. Um, there is a pending suppression request that the judge has taken under advisement. The next thing on the schedule is a trial in January, but that will change for certain. Um, that's Moscow. Moscow. Oh, okay. So for sure, the full statements of the witnesses and the accused in this crime are in there. That is likely a lot of it. Witnesses related to Richard Allen's, the arrest of Richard Allen, not all witnesses, but that will be included in discovery. Beyond the statements, I don't know for sure what they held back or why. The amount of stuff in discovery will be massive since there is a lot of Logan, Klein, and other related to this case. If there are any potential suspects, then they would be in there. There's a lot of stuff that isn't in the public that is likely in the discovery relating to the crime scene and the leads that would have been followed. The crime scene, as discussed by Robert Ives, had at least 2 to 3 signatures, so you can speculate what it entails, but that info has been out there previously. Depending on the avenues that they followed, there could be a lot of witnesses to certain facts, potential of DNA, potential of tips coming in on the accused. Has anyone ever confessed to the crime to anyone, even if not police? Do we know all of the potential suspects? What are the alibis of anyone of interest here? And do people have connections to Richard Allen? Because if he didn't act alone, then you want those people too. The amount of the crime scene photos covering that area from the parking lot to the bridge to the crime scene and then out has to be significant alone. The quantity of depositions is going to be through the roof, and the need to talk to some 2 to 3 plus times is a potential. With 6 years and all different names discussed, it is going to be a lot for the defense to look at and try to use to create reasonable doubt. Questions. You want me to do more? You want to take over? It's up to you.
I'll read for a few.
Okay.
When you consider the statements, group 3 young witnesses, 1, 2, 3, lady that saw BG on the first platform, 4, muddy and bloody lady, 5, accused and wife, 6, 7, that could be 14 pages alone right there, depending on the length. Comment. Yep, this is major. It may be easy to wrap up with RA, but there is evidence that indicates others were involved in any capacity at the crime scene that then this needs to be looked at. No matter what extent that involvement was, they need to be found and charged. I'm very torn on what I believe in this regard now versus a month ago. That's interesting. So I hope they have or are running anything down that leaves a question mark. Delphi dogs. This is not uncommon at all. The defense likely knew that this wasn't going anywhere, but they have decided to pursue this route. That was July 20th. Delphi Doxy says, aw, bigotry, hilarious. Delphi trial on July 19th, he says, for sure the full statements of witnesses and the accused in this crime are in there. That is likely a lot of it. Witnesses related to the arrest of Richard Allen, not all witnesses, but that will be included in discovery. Beyond the statements, I don't know for sure what they held back or why. The amount of stuff in discovery will be massive since there's a... Oh, wait, we already read that, didn't we?
Well, I'm not sure what you're reading. I'm on July 21st, and it says they will address...
Oh, it scrolled back. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah. July 21st, right above where you just said...
Yeah, they will address... Libby and Abby, he says that they will address only the points raised by the prosecution. They will do this by providing answers of why to anything stayed, for example. He walks the trails often during these hours, for why he was there. They will, when appropriate, offer an alternative to what could have happened and hope they can appeal to the jury that they have provided reasonable doubt. Remember, the discovery they are in possession of has lots of information that we do not have, or at least further details we don't have. So there could be ways we are unaware of that they could raise doubt. I am hoping the prosecution has tracked down all the other possible leads and been able to sufficiently rule those out in a factual manner. I also hope that they have been able to gather additional incriminating evidence since they apprehended Richard Allen so that the case against him is strong and the story they can tell is compelling. Then we have some Moscow murders, Libby and Abby. This is true too. I'm guessing he told his friend that he had been cleared. This is talking about Dan Howard, I think. I'm guessing he told his friend that he had been cleared when his friend mentioned to him, hey bro, that looks like you in the photo of the guy on the bridge. WTF. Where can we find the name? Oh, I just said it. And then Moscow murders, Delphi trial. The purple PT Cruiser is a small dark car as well. All vehicles mentioned are easily in close enough range. Delphi trial. Here's a shot I grabbed offline. And I can't click the link to see the picture. The reason I know this particular vehicle, I'll skip that because it's Delphi trial.
Yeah.
Last I heard, nobody from the prosecution or the defense team.
1 second, let me hit back. And I think I hear Alexa. Hold on. I need to hit back because it didn't bring it up. Okay. I think is that Alexa?
It is.
Oh, yep. There she is.
Hey, Alexa. Oh, sorry.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Who are you? You're blacklisted.
Yeah, right. Sorry about that. It's just my neighbor saw me and he was like talking, and I'm like, I gotta go.
And you're like, this reminds me of Sunny.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that you're like, okay, I really gotta go. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.
I know, right? Did you eat a lot?
No, I never do.
These lights are like so dark. I don't know what's going on.
I was quickly, I would say, Michelle O. All we're reading right now is Robert FORTSON, who is no longer with us. Of course, his Reddit profile was deleted, but there's websites that you can find all of the messages from deleted profiles on Reddit, apparently. And we're just reading his Reddit comments and posts throughout the summer, trying to kind of gauge a timeline on what was going on at the time in this case, what was going on in his mind, what was going on in, information he may have had. So
Yeah, and 1 second here. I was just checking something. Oh my good YouTube. 1 second on there. I just want to go see. YouTube's being slow. Come on, YouTube. Let's go. Let's go. Chop chop. Okay, there's 55 likes and there's 130 something people in here. Could you guys love us and hit that likes? I mean, come on. Happy Thanksgiving. Give us a happy Thanksgiving back and hit those likes if you could.
right.
Or what? Or Alexa, you're gonna come through that computer, aren't you? You're gonna strong arm them all.
All right.
Sounds about right. Yeah. That doesn't make sense to me at all. Boop, 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 boop. And I didn't take that on there. And so, Alexa, it's up to you. Do you just want Adam to, or we're just going to continue on reading and then we'll talk about it all after?
Yeah, continue reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interrupt me.
I wasn't listening because I was talking, so I had to catch up.
Well, yeah, interrupt me if there's anything you find interesting. We started at the kind of the end of June, early July, and if you read the Westerman arrest warrant or affidavit, it kind of alleged that the crime scene photo leaks took place between August 1st and September. I can't remember the date.
All right, September 5th. I always keep getting the date wrong.
There was a random Robert Fortson Reddit post on July 5th where all it said literally was Richard Whiteman. And there was another one on July 10th where he talked about thinking that the Dan Doolin, Richard Allen tip might have gotten lost because of they mixed the street name up with the name. And he said, again, Richard Whiteman. That name, Richard Whiteman was not publicly known until September 18th when the defense memorandum came out. And I think Sonny said it was on page 132 where it mentions.
Oh, I'm blurry. Oh, geez.
So to me, that's telling that there was information, people had information from the discovery prior to August.
Yeah.
There we go.
So anyway, yeah. So we're at July 25th.
Okay.
And last I heard, this was in the Delphi trial subreddit. Last I heard, nobody from the prosecution or defense was even talking about the Kleins. There are some other things lingering out there. The YGS, young bridge guy, is the witness, Betsy Blair, that saw him at the bridge. It's a decent distance from the first platform to the walk for her to be able to be so insistent on it being a younger guy, though. The good thing is that she agreed that the BG guy matched who she saw. So it likely was just her not judging age well from that far away. R.A. is a smaller person and may appear younger than he is. The best you could do is a rough estimate, and I can only speak for me personally, but when I'm out, I would not be able to give a perfect description of someone I saw unless I was prepared to do so ahead of time. Age range and rough description, sure, but there could be glaring errors too. I was out at the bridge Sunday and couldn't describe any one of the 3 small groups I saw with reviewing images or video. I'm just hoping there's a place the prosecution has that seals this up, a piece the prosecution has that seals this up and makes it clear to all. I know the folks who really have wild theories will never be satisfied, but they aren't my concern. The families getting justice is what matters, and the perpetrator getting his is second. Excuse me, sorry. On July 25th, he says in the Delphi trial subreddit, none of these people thought they were going to have to recall what they saw that day. All of the vehicles are hatchbacks. All are small, mid in size, all dark in color.
You missed the one that says he doesn't have an alibi.
That's Moscow murders.
Oh. It still pertains. No.
And he does now. Remember, he was driving around. Meaning Brian Koberger, not Rashad. Wednesday, July 26th on Libby and Abby, he says, this is where the case is going to get flipped upside down and into even more of a circus. Hold on. I'm interested what that one was. Let me look. That was on a comment that says, "What is a Franks hearing, and what does this mean in the Delphi case?" So on July 26th, he was commenting on something about a Franks hearing. When did they request the Franks hearing?
Oh God, too many
Was it
dates
was it?
there.
Oh wait, wasn't it on September 18th?
Yeah, something like that. September,
Yeah.
yeah, 18th, I believe.
Okay, so on July 25th, he was already saying this is where the case is going to get flipped upside down and even into more of a circus. Hold on, and he was right.
Mm.
Um, July 27th in the Delphi Murders subreddit, he says, "This should always be the strategy. Why defend things you don't have to? This is why discovery and all of the pre-trial hearings and depositions are so important to glean what you can of the prosecution's angle. You don't want to waste time on elaborate conspiracies and lunatic ideas like the people online when you only need to poke holes in the pieces presented against the client. Sure, if there is something very clear that could be a plausible alternative, then offer that or any generic possibility up as an alternative for reasonable doubt. But don't go defending things you don't have to, as it is a waste of time and takes from what you need to focus." He is a great lawyer, but she has her hand. Oh, wait. That was Idaho Murders. Oh, my goodness. Stop me if I'm reading something about a different case.
Oh my goodness, I was like, go tell me more, and then
I
you're
know,
like,
right? As soon as I saw the lawyer's name as she, I was like, wait, what are they
yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
Sorry. I apologize, everyone.
It's very interesting
Lib-
read though.
Libby and Abby, neither the prosecution or the defense in the Richard Allen case are looking at the clients. I would think if they were, then both would be. Again, Libby and Abby on July 28th. They aren't going to point to anyone they believe can be debunked in front of the jury. There are other people. Oh, it's funny I brought up that point. There are other people and ideas out there that would have been out there for a while, and then comes down to using what to produce reasonable doubt that not only was this other person involved, but also that your client was not. July 28th. July 28th, Libby and Abby. It is not possible that they were trying to surveillance him and investigate him for the Delphi case more and wanted to give him a chance to give them more evidence. They then tried to use another method with the arrest to apply pressure, and when he was clearly full of it and they found the other evidence against Richard Allen, they quickly pivoted and pressured with CSAM stuff alone. Clearly they're talking about Keegan there. None of this seems unusual to me when you consider they really are at a loss on the Delphi stuff. July 28th, Libby and Abby subreddit. Yes, yeah, I agree. There's even more stuff that will come to light, but the investigation into all of this was brutal from what I've seen. And no matter what the result, there are some serious issues that need addressed, whether accidental or just intentionally bad decisions. July 28th, Libby and Abby, it says, good point. And judged by the fact that they mentioned his behavior communicating women while locked up, that is potentially a horrible situation. Libby and Abby, July 28th. I'm quite sure Nick McClelland is busy currently with his other cases and preparing to handle what will undoubtedly be some major stuff coming from the okay, so July 28th, he says some major stuff coming from the defense since they were sent back with their suppression stuff for the Franks hearing. I think people think this thing is over and a slam dunk, and I don't think we are anywhere near that. July 28th, exactly. Hopefully once they have him sent upstate, then they can lock him down better. July 28th, Libby and Abby. I think you will be surprised in the next few weeks or months what we see, but I don't think we see much about the Kleins again here unless a reference to how much all over the place things were. Just my hunch. Delphi Doxy says, where can I view the linguist document? Feel free to DM me. Thank you. Hope you didn't waste too much time on that. Libby, on July 30th, Libby and Abby, he says, it was meant to look like someone younger or who appears younger than they are because the witness at the bridge described the guy on the platform as being a younger person. They are steadfast in that, and they are likely won't be a great witness for the prosecution if you ask me. Hopefully they can use the fact that the timeline and other statements, including from Richard Allen, make it a near certainty that it was him. Also, it will be helpful if she agrees the video of Libby's shows the guy she saw. It's possible that a short and healthy-ish Richard Allen looked younger from the distance. I have stood in that spot, and the distance is further than I would have thought would allow someone to state unequivocally the age of a stranger beyond a pretty broad range. I'm going to read one more, and then I'm going to let you take over again, Sonny. They are all hatchbacks and mid to small in range. Okay. Remember, none of these people thought they were going to need to remember what they saw that day. I think most here suffer from a strong case of Dunkinger when it comes to recalling specifics when you don't know what you will need to know. When I was there, I saw a group of 4, an older couple and a family of 3 with a dog. When I spoke to my friend that night, my only recollection was the makeup of the parties and that the male in the family of 3 had on a blue tee. That is it, and I spoke to 2 of the groups via a casual greeting. I think most make way too much of a subtle difference in these accounts. Same with the younger descriptions of BG. The end of the bridge to the trail was too far for me to give a confident and specific description of someone's age. I could get a ballpark, but nothing certain from there with the person focused on their stock ticker, fish watching, or focused concealment of their identity. There also could have been multiple people out there that we aren't aware of yet, but it's likely the guy wearing the matching clothes was just older than the witness they could tell from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree there, Kyle.
Yeah. Can we take over?
Sorry, Betsy.
Yeah.
I agree with Kyle.
Yeah, on that one, absolutely. His Ford Focus was a hatchback. There is a picture of it on the tow truck. Everything else you said is exactly right. We know he parked there via the cameras, so messy, I guess. Witness recollections do not matter. Plus, he said he parked there. We're at July 30th still, by the way. Looks like a 2016 Ford Focus hatchback to me, but I can't say for sure as it's pretty a garbage pick. Edit. Now I'm looking at Prius, and I'm completely undecided, but lean toward, well, we know it's a Ford, because if you view the search warrant returns document, then you will all see that all the items were shown to be recovered at the Whiteman address that was his home, except the samples from the Ford Focus, which was shown recovered from the state police post in Lafayette. No Prius ever mentioned. This article says that they examined the Focus in Lafayette, so they definitely took it. What if the confession is something like, I don't know, maybe I did kill them or something like that? I'm hoping the confession is more solid. They better have something because there's a lot of activity happening and they're going to need some strong stuff. I heard no RA linked DNA, which would have been ideal. Okay, so let's say that again. I've heard no RA linked DNA, which would have been ideal. That's July 30th. Well, take a look. They took a Ford Focus and not a Prius. So July 31st, I don't know. The prosecution has been able to choose the narrative on all the reporting because the PCA is written from their perspective and all of those is framed from their perspective. Rosie just said that he has made incriminating statements. I hope that they are solid, but some of the stuff I've been able to find out regards to reality versus PC reality, if true, is concerning. I am really hoping they have stuff we haven't seen. That's not true at all. If they knew that these statements would be brought up, then it only makes sense to be one to bring them up and frame them as incriminating statements versus confessions. Everyone needs to prepare for the chaos coming in this thing with the Franks hearing, because I can tell based on the emotional downvoting in regards to even talking about this question out there that people are going to be upset moving forward. And the Franks motion came out September 18th. You said? I think it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was, I think that's when the memorandum came out.
The memorandum, yeah, okay. Right, okay, the memorandum. Well, The pace is currently being dictated by the defense as they have been told to submit paperwork for a Franks hearing and need to do that. If nobody is watching the news, then there was a high profile murder case in Indiana last week that involved one of the major players in this case. So now that is finished, I would expect stuff to pick up. No, you can't, because you're all doing it, is reasoning that out in your head based on them taking DNA from people and then arresting RA. Nobody with knowledge has told you they have DNA that matches RA. Agreed. It was a lot to handle, and I'd be pain in the ass of the prosecutor wanting to know that evidence and make sure that this went well. My point on that is just that the actual statements given by witnesses could be different than what it was presented. Each side is going to look at those statements and build their narrative around that, leaning in their favor. We have not really heard of any defense narratives because of the gag order in place. I think we all want this to go smoothly and get a solid conviction of the right perp and punish them to the fullest extent of the law. The problem is that I have worries about a lot of things that they haven't gotten better the more I am able to ascertain. I hope I am wrong, but I just don't know how this goes really well from where I sit. I think everyone should do some real research into what the judge is asking for from the defense when asking for the Franks hearing stuff. We will see. It's a Franks hearing, Scooter. Below is the information about it. You are making a knowingly false statement on the DNA. You got my hopes up originally until I realized you just make stuff up.
Right. Quickly, I want to say hi to Criminality and hi Fig Solves. Good to see you both.
Oh, hey, Figgy. Oh, and again, if anyone's watching right now and they haven't seen Fig Solves' video that he put out today, again, it's a great video. Loved it. You didn't come on the live and say sorry though. So take it back. Anyways, great video by Figgy. And
Sonny, if you want to hear him say that, you can just listen to your birthday video.
This is true. This is true. That's right. I got that to fall back on. And you said Criminality's in the house on there. Hi, Criminality. How are you? Oh, there's a name. Oh, am I boring you? Oh, am I boring you? Okay, I see what you did there. Oh, am I boring you? Any cross-referencing that Kyle comments with the Funko Cohen might be interesting. The Kyle comments on there. Please hit that like. Oh, there's the Drunk Turkey Show. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, it's their day.
Yeah, hope you guys all like I said, I'm from Canada, but wanting to wish you guys, of course, a happy Thanksgiving from me to you guys, and of course, well, Adam's from there, so forever young. There we go. Splash the love around, guys. On there.
I'm saying I'll be right back. I'm gonna let you read a few more of these, and then I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay. Anyways, good to see you guys. And Fig and Criminality and whoever else, you guys, if you guys haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button for us. And we're just going over the FORTSON Reddit posts that have been deleted, but you know, there's those programs out there and stuff. So yeah. We had ours in Canada in October, of course, Criminality. So just celebrating it with the guys this morning and then doing a live tonight because Adam was pouting on there. Right, Alexa? Yeah, she said, yeah, I heard her.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what the judge asked of the defense at the last hearing before proceeding with the suppression hearing. It's not at least this guy knows how to type. I'll give him that. He's very good with his words. He types well. It's not like reading some of that shit out there where you can barely make out what the frick their combos going on like because, you know, of all the frickin' typos and different stuff. At least this guy's, you know, has good grammar. Okay. So let's see. It's not my fault you have zero understanding of anything in the courtrooms. Okay. And every time I click on this, because this count's deleted, guys, whenever I click on any of the links, it just shows like nothing there. So let's see. I agree. Okay. The info I provided you or sorry, the info I provided was so you can see what a Frank's hearing is. It's a type of hearing, not the idea that Frank's refers to someone in the case. It doesn't matter if there is DNA, it matters if it matches Richard Allen. And it has been said that they do not have DNA matching him. I'm happy to wait and see, though. I'd be much happier if they said they, or if they did. But that again, you literally made up that idea that it matches Richard Allen. Nobody told you it matches Richard Allen, and I'm confident in that fact. So it was true that prior to Richard Allen being arrested, it was considered not a DNA case. Now, we don't know if it now, once they arrested Richard Allen, if any sort of DNA was found. You know, again, at some point we'll find out. But up until that point, it wasn't considered a DNA case. So who knows what they could have found in the car or in his home, in the backyard, who knows. If you followed the June 15th court proceedings, then you would know what I'm talking about. The suppression was continued until a Frank's hearing notice was filed. That was from the judge. Research what a Frank's hearing is on your own if you would like. We don't need to go back and forth. You are delusional and believe what you create in your head. And I'm trying to find good information on the proceedings. I have found out that a lot is going on and it's about to be chaotic. Okay, so I have found out that a lot is going on and it's about to be chaotic. I think that's, you guys can understand that language on that. You believe that we were all just waiting for the prosecutor to press play on a recording and show the non-existent DNA results before this wraps up, or before this wrap this up. I wish you were right, but I know that this isn't the case and we have a long way to go still. We can be done now if you'd like, because you won't agree. Okay. The judge requested the Frank's hearing notice. That was the public. It has nothing to do with me or you. Just simply follow the information here. I didn't tell you anything was going to happen I didn't tell you anything was going to happen weeks ago. I said weeks ago that I think there is something to be a lot of things happening, though. I still hold that thought and still think it all starts with the suppression / Frank's related stuff. I don't think you get how a trial works. Stuff you think is dead and debunked might raise reasonable doubt if it is presented properly and coherently, or it might just have the opposite effect and seal the deal. We don't know, but that doesn't make me have any less concerns. You aren't tracking anything new or old brought back. You checked out their arrest clearly and are happy to be like, it's okay, they got this in the bag. And that is fine, but don't come at me for calling you on misinformation like the Prius or the DNA. Again, having DNA and the DNA matching Richard Allen are different things. That isn't a tough follow. Do you think this may have slowed stuff up? And Adam, just say when you want to come over. Bob Motta at the last hearing with his on the scene coverage, enjoy. Also, that isn't related. That is a major murder case being handled by one. Am I on the right one? Okay. One of the members of Allen's defense team. The time that it takes to kindly, the kind of relevant to how things proceed here, just as Rosie's other cases, McClellan's other cases, and Judge Gull other cases. She's waiting on them to file. This is how it was left in June. Well, he was there and much more credible than you or anyone you are getting information from. He's an actual lawyer that at least knows what a Frank's hearing is, unlike you that can't comprehend it when I explain it. You are clearly in a bad state of denial. Best of luck to you. That it is going to get worse for you. Denial. The Franks would still be going on in the relation of to the suppression hearing. That is in regards to the search warrant and the probable cause for that. Moving him is still in play too, I suspect, but that may become a question of that has different answers from the current ones. Charlie Daniels wrote a song about it. Well, there's a bottle of Jack Daniels that could write a song about it probably too, if I drank one. I appreciate that, and it's baffling to me as I pose nothing but the idea that there could be more going on to what many are privy to, and that we need to see that stuff to know for sure. If I'm writing a PCA to get an arrest or a search warrant, then it is going to be tailored to my narrative on the case. I didn't think that was a secret or controversial. I should have known based on the complete lack of any familiarity with the justice system on here and the emotional attachments to one's ideas that I have seen. Can you put me in more information about the linguistic doc? Um, LOL. I don't have an argument, but keep believing whatever you want. I'm also not on Web Sleuths, and I've never mentioned anything about documents not being signed. There is no reason for us to keep at this. You will see. Peace. This, this person steals and gets mad at the person that catches them, then justifies it by saying they got insurance for that. So, oh wait, no, that's a whole different thing, guys. Ignore that. Ignore that.
What was the date on that one?
The
Where it
one that
says
I
you will
just
see?
read. You will see that's July 31st, Adam. Are you going to take over? We'd be
Yeah, I was. Let me go back. I have to find it again.
we're going to be on August 4th. I'm going to read this one. It says not next week, but the week after. I bet you there will be plenty.
Okay. So then on Delphi Murders on August 5th, he says, and Alexa or Sunny, just interrupt me if you hear something you want to discuss or whatever.
Yeah,
Sounds
I'm just going to
good.
go back.
Alexa, what did you say?
No, I said sounds good.
Okay. The suppression hearing was to cover the search warrant and the evidence produced from that. It was canceled and changed to what we got in June. This was because of the nature of what was being discussed, which required a Franks motion that the judge will consider to see if she will grant a Franks hearing, which will take place behind closed doors where evidence will be presented to the Judge Gull. She will make a decision on it if the following were an issue based on evidence presented. 1, it contained a false statement or misstatements of facts. It contained false information or material information that was false. 3, it was made with a reckless disregard for the truth. And or 4, it contained misleading information that the judge used to issue the warrant. You will see this in the next 7 to 10 days or so, now that the murder trial for Robert Small is over in Brown County, in my opinion. I think what witness is actually said in their statements versus what is in the PCA for the search warrant is the main issue here. Huh, that's funny because that's what we ended up seeing being presented in the Franks motion that was filed. Then we go to August 6th. He's talking about the linguist document again. On August 7th, in the Libby and Abby subreddit, he says, just my 2 cents here, but they have vehicles passing on the camera, but it doesn't show them parking at the CPS building. So all they had was images of cars passing throughout the day. Once they got back to Allen, reviewed his known vehicles, and then cross-referenced that with the Harvest Store video, they were able to pinpoint his timetable, which corroborated for them in his 2022 interview. The Ford Focus hatchback is what was hauled from the house, and they cut swaths from under the spare tire, it sounds. So hopefully that produces something useful. That could be telling.
That could be telling, couldn't it?
Yeah, so I'm gonna read. So all they had was cars passing. Once they got back to Allen, reviewed his known vehicles, and then cross-referenced that with the Harvest Store video, they were able to pinpoint his timetable, which he corroborated for them in his 2022 interview.
That's kind of huge, really.
I mean, it makes sense though. I mean, it just makes logical sense that that's how they would have determined that.
The time, yeah, from 12 to 1:30.
Right. In his 2022 interview.
Right, that one. Right, exactly. His 2017 was whatever the heck it was, 1:30 or whatever till 3:30 or whatever the heck that time was. So just my 2 cents here, but they
on August 7th, in the Libby and Abby subreddit, he says, I will say that I do not believe any of the men mentioned would be able to take human remains of 2 people to the water, then cross, then up the other side. The narrowest place to cross the creek leads you to a decent climb out of the creek bed. I did not go further south because I wanted to cross the most narrow and shallow point. Either way, nobody mentioned in this investigation carried two bodies to that opposite side. That is not feasible at all. Again, I agree with Kyle.
Yeah.
Libby and Abby subreddit on August 8th, he says, I don't think we really know his path back. Some thoughts I have are below. It is tight through where the Mears lot meets the road. The fields around the cemetery and before the Mears lot run perpendicular with another trail that runs perpendicular with the main 501 path. This would be a good spot to follow the tree line, but without foliage, I think you might be exposed to people on the trails. However, the was unnoticed by a couple when I was doing this to the point that it made me worried about their situational awareness. Who's to say he didn't cut clear behind all of the Mears property Hoosier Harvest Store after being seen on the road? Would make sense that he did, as there's not another great reason to cross 300 there for the person escaping. Who's to say the foot movement, if across the road from the Hoosier Harvest Store, was not enough to trigger cameras? Maybe they do have him on film, and we don't know yet. I've thought that as well. Lots of possibilities here, so who knows at this point? On August 8th, in the Libby and Abby subreddit, he says, I don't know. I don't have an opinion either way, but it seems they didn't suspect Rick or have him on their radar, so I'm guessing they were not able to determine it was his vehicle. If they were, then that is an even worse botch than previously thought, and I have zero faith in what is coming from the state side. On August 8th, he says in the Libby and Abby subreddit, yes, I believe dragged up away from a potential mess so that he could stage as wanting to present them. Like you said, not too far. August 8th, for sure. The side where the bodies were found have a hell of a climb out of there for the average person, so taking bodies out is a no-go. Maybe there are better ways than how I went, but I don't know. It looked bad all around. It wasn't too bad for me. I just would not want to haul someone else out of there. No way. Pictures and videos do not do it justice. When you are looking up, it's crazy how high you climb when you can't really see that too well from the overhead shots that were available from the helicopters and whatnot. Delphi trial, August 8th. He says, that makes sense. There's supposed to be a legit, actual, and specific threat in order to do what they did with Richard Allen. It seems like Diener just didn't want anything to do with this and punted without any consideration for much of anything legal. I'm pretty sure someone confirmed this on the record about there being a specific threat and mentioned a general perception of a threat, which they believe is not sufficient. And then we have a Moscow murders. Libby and Abby. I thought they said a path was marked with blue flags at some point. Thanks, Julie. Was that misinformation? Libby and Abby says on August 9th, yeah, I was there with foliage on the trees and it was desolate out there. It was as if those homes didn't exist. Not sure how it is in the winter. There was a big, well-fed coyote back there too and a young deer that appeared solo. And I have to say really quickly, I have heard like 7 people tell me that when they've been out there, they've seen deer.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Oh, somebody actually just put out a video actually not too long ago. I'm trying to think of who it was. It's nobody that I typically watch. And there was 2 deer. And it kind of made him a little emotional because he took it as Abby and Libby, because as he was at the crime scene and then was just walking away and turned around and there's these 2 deer that were watching him. Yeah. But I can't think of what his channel name was. But yeah. Crazy, eh?
Absolutely. And like I said, and he has lots. FORTSON followed several true crime cases. So there are lots of Moscow murders subreddit posts in here as well, which I'm skipping over.
Yeah.
The next one that I see about Delphi is on August 10th. in the Libby and Abby subreddit, where he says the blue flags were mentioned in the pre-production tapes for the Delphi documentary done by Hannah Shakespeare. Shout out to Hannah. It's a group of locals and her talking about what they saw and heard back during that time before the 2019 presser. You never know the validity in those combos, but I would say that it sounded like most of those people were at least doing their best to be accurate. I didn't get a sense that there was confidence on the subject of the flags, though, as they were saying different things, so it could just be speculative. And for anyone that doesn't know, the picture of the blue flags that were marking the bridge guy's possible exit route, I believe was a picture that was done by Julie Melvin. Well, I know it is because she told me, but that proposed route, we don't know if that's actually the route he took. On August 10th in the Delphi Docs subreddit, he says, I could be wrong, but my initial impression of this is they want the record of Tobe saying there was no specific threat, which is required to do what they did with Rick. I don't know what the requirements and all are, but it seems they were just asking for the transcript to me. And based on their arguments the day, it would seem to me that because to show a specific threat, just another thing in the column of things that don't look great around this case. This makes sense. The Westville warden spoke at the hearing too, so it could be either of those two, Tobe and the warden. This could also be directly related to the need to re-reference things in the Frank's motion coming that could trigger at the judges to hold a Frank's hearing, edited for clarity. And that post to me is an example of like something that can be frustrating because we don't know the context of what he was commenting on or why he was commenting on it. Because all we have is the comments, not necessarily what he's talking
Correct.
in reference to.
Yeah.
The next post, though, was Delphi Docs, August 10th. He says, possibly, but I'm guessing the judge, again, in the form of evidence in a Frank's hearing in her chambers. And then we have one in Fishers, Indiana, subreddit. Fishers, which is where he lived, but Delphi Docs on August 10th, he says, well, I guess we will see, but obviously they need to quote someone specifically from that hearing in June. I think we will see something tomorrow or next week at the latest around the Delphi case in general, either way. So we wait now. August 10th, he says, okay, I'll defer to you. Why would you want the transcript here in this case at this time when we know you were when they were tasked in June with working on a Frank's motion in order to proceed with the suppression-related matters? What would they need this for, in your opinion? Delphi Docs, August 10th, he says, it's funny you say that. I just read that and realized it definitely combine two separate things. The Frank stuff is related to the search warrant, and that is what they were left with to press on with the suppression-related matters due to the nature of the involved there. I know this process is pretty involved and can result in a hearing with the judge or being ruled against again. The warden would be more related to the transfer they want, but you say that it was ruled on. Can that not be appealed in some way? Would statements by the warden, Tobe, and judge all be potentially relevant here? Those are two big things out there that are already on the playing field in this case. There's a lot of other stuff on the way, too. I see below where you answered what you think this is related to. Thanks. So, again, like this is like the
Right.
umpteenth post where he comments about
He's
something.
referencing. Yeah. There's a lot of other stuff on the way, too.
Right. And if you missed the first month of these comments, I mean, he made statements in the beginning of July that, in my opinion, showed he clearly was being given discovery evidence well before the August 1st date that we have mentioned in Westerman's affidavit. I still think the information was coming from Westerman, but I think this was a much broader ongoing thing than we've been told so far. Unless you've been listening to me. I'm kidding. Sonny, I'll let you read for a little bit.
Am I on where I wasn't implying? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't implying that the defense didn't do something or whatever you think I said there. As I understood it, the judge required the extra motion because of the nature of all involved and what was being discussed. I can only speculate why, but I don't know what it's about to get warm. But it's about to get warm in that courtroom. What appeal are you predicting here? Throw out the OA for now. I would say when you expect a suppression hearing and are then asked to produce a Frank's motion that the judge then considers before granting a hearing, that I would personally look at it as something in addition to, but that is me. And then we're on August 10th still. You said it is either related to an appeal or an OA, which you insinuate is the judge being removed. What appeal are you hinting at? This is an August 10th? What appeal are you hinting at as a
Yeah.
possibility? Or, but hold on, that's August 10th. What appeal about the judge being removed? What appeal? Okay. Or you could explain it as you see it. We will see that what the defense files next, either way. So, safekeeping, as we brought up, they are going to go after the statement about there being no clear threat. As I said, it was clear that would be an issue when it was said. It was not expected. Um, it was not expected by very seasoned Indiana defense attorneys, is all I can say on that. That's why I considered the extra, but that apparently is a huge problem for sure. Still on August 10th. I have no idea what it is. I was trying to get that individual I was speaking with to clarify what they were saying. I never brought that up at all in the comment you were replying to. I was just trying to get them to say what appeal they thought might be coming. Here are some Indians. What? Here are some Indians related reading of original actions for anyone interested. These dang lawyers just keep making me read stuff instead of spoon feeding it to me. um, so, inmate in county jail is in imminent danger of seriously bodily harm, injury, or death, or represents substantial threat to safety of others. Imminent, about to happen. I would call that a clear threat. By either way, neither existed. The transcript thing was related to Warden, though, in my opinion, based on what he said in June. Thanks on the interim appeals info. Not sure why you don't want to just continue on with these thoughts, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Man, and that's Moscow. Forget it. I don't understand these sentences and release dates. Here is a kid that was sentenced to 38 years for murder in 2016 and is set to go out in 2029. Here's a guy that killed his estranged wife while his two daughters were in bed with her, and he got almost 55 years in 2009. He is set to be released in 2035. This is still in Delphi trial, guys. I would think
Yeah.
that the murder to this level would be life with the girls right there.
Right.
I sit here today still believing that R.A. is BG and he is guilty. I think you will see a lot of things brought up in regards to the search warrant PCA soon. That could be an issue if the statements the witnesses made are considerably different from how they were framed to get the search warrant. Now, that could be sent packing by the judge quickly, but there are things out there that have been previously discussed and debunked. There was relevant That will be relevant again in this case, if you ask me. Just remember that when things get debunked by people talking to their sources, it doesn't mean that those people have all the information to do that. We will see how it plays out and who all is brought up in this thing.
Right.
We're on August 11th now.
Yeah. And that was August 11th.
Yeah. This is where
Again, another hint.
I know there's tons. This is where I often find myself. There are just some details unknown in general that give me pause on it all. I can't reconcile it right now. There is a simple explanation to that would have been I've been able to do it on my own. One piece of information could settle the matter for me, and I can't find it, or it doesn't exist, and that is scary. The Montgomery kid was a teen. Oh yeah, that guy. when it happened. So maybe there is an issue here. I was also It was also an altercation gone bad. This kid took a horrible plea deal because I think he could have beat it. Okay, something to do right here. He's a little dude though, so I don't know what 13 years in a place like Westville will do to someone. That's Moscow, Delphi. Man, those comment sections will terrify you on some of those pages. The intense belief in stuff based on very little information is scary. If I were that family, I would have security very beefy and be looking into legal actions against people. The YouTube creators should be held accountable. Um, huh, says 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 Forston. Okay. How dare people want to keep their land? No, that's geography, people. We don't want that one. It's the result of the witness that saw the BG on the bridge. She is convinced she saw a younger person. I will be curious to see the actual statements versus the prosecution version. I have a feeling that there will be liberties taken, but maybe it's ballpark enough not get evidence tossed. We shall see soon enough. Agreed, and I think things are about to speed up in this case. That's August 17th. Because of that,
He was right.
yeah, I'll read this last one and then you can go back at it, Adam. And I'm on August 20th. I imagine they learned, wait, that's something totally different. Sorry. One saw him from the trail and he was on the first platform. It's a lot further than people think when you were standing on it. I was surprised and couldn't say that it gave me a good view of people at the end of the bridge where BB would have been turning around at. She claims the guy was younger and not RA, from what I've been told, but I am not sold that she would be able to make that call from where she was. I wouldn't have been able to, I don't think.
Okay, so Delphi Docs, August 21st. To August 21st, he says, "No, not hide. Maybe now with the rail and the little cut-ins that replace the platforms, you could obscure yourself decently. But I'm just referring to the distance. When you were at the first platform, the trail looks like a decent distance away to be given details info on a stranger. I saw people there and could it give you a narrowed down age on the people. I have other indicators that since it was a family of 4 with their pet, but just looking at the male or other female adult would be hard to give much outside of a wide range." Libby and Abby, August 21st. I've heard they found nothing outside of what we know that ties Richard Allen to the crime scene in terms of physical evidence. Is this a hunch, or are you working off of information that you believe to be good? Libby and Abby, August 21st.
Is he talking to Westerman here?
I don't know. That matter is coming very soon, I believe. This week? Question mark? Well, let's just go look and see what he's referring to there. Someone named Blackberry J says, "Is it legal, maybe not the right term, for the prosecution in Indiana to hold back evidence that wasn't in the PCA and search warrant?" So that's the post the comment was on, but I'm not sure what he's actually referring to. Let me look. Delete. See, and if you once it links you to the actual Reddit site, all it shows is deleted, so you don't know which post is his.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, I'm grateful to have what we have.
Mm-hmm.
On August 22nd, I'm sorry?
No, sorry. I thought you got lost there for a second.
August 22nd in the Libby and Abby subreddit, he says, "I'm asking about the trophy. Where did that information come from? Is that just an opinion based on criminology or these types of crimes, or is that being spoken of somewhere that others are not privy to?" Then we have the Moscow murders, Libby and Abby. "The suppression-related matter, it depends on when the defense drops their motion requesting a Frank's hearing. It's something that could happen at any moment now. I know that depositions have taken place as well with Sun LE." Okay, so on August 22nd, he says, "I know that depositions have taken place with LE. When did Holman and Liggett's depositions take place?"
Right.
So we know at this point, well, we've known for 2 months at this point that he's been being given information, but I mean, he outright says depositions have taken place.
Yeah.
Yet that has not been filed yet. So, and this is like, when we've referenced that in the past about how I can't imagine how I don't think that Baldwin. I've always said I don't think that Andrew Baldwin orchestrated this leak. I don't think that he arranged it. But I think the fact that it was going on for so long and he was not aware of it, yet it was on public forums, is the exact problem and why we're discussing all of the stuff we're discussing today, because it's his responsibility as Richard Allen's attorney to give him the best representation that he possibly can. And he was allowing a leak to happen within his office for much longer than I think we know.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was intentional, but I think it was negligent.
Right. I get it. Yeah. I'll agree.
That's my opinion. I respect people that disagree with me.
Because we don't really know for sure. So. Are you having a moment to yourself?
No, I was tired of reading. But I just started again.
I can go more if you want me to. It's up to you.
I'll let you read for a minute.
Oh, okay. Which one am I on, though? I can't remember. Which the suppression related. Where did you leave off, Adam?
You're on August 22nd, Delphi Docs. It starts with, I will say it right now and very clear.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you. I will say it right now and very clear. Unless the prosecution does a flawless threading of the needle with her, then she is not going to be a good witness for them. I believe she will be a very important defense witness. Wish I knew why this was so controversial. I can believe that R.A. is a murderer and also admit that I can't find anyone stating that they have more evidence outside of what we know publicly. I didn't say it doesn't exist, just that it is unknown to me through my digging. You've seen the full video and it shows his face. Oh, okay. You've seen the full video and it shows his face. Seems like quite a breach for that to have happened. I have to pause on that one. I got to play some like scary music or something, or creepy music. So you've seen that full video and it shows his face. Seems like quite a breach for that to have happened.
Right, but the question mark means he could be just like, oh, and it shows his face. Like it.
Well, I mean, it's like he's replying though, like you've seen the full video and it shows his face. Seems like quite a breach.
Question mark.
Yeah. Well, I know it's a question mark, but I mean, it seems like quite a breach. What is the comment to that one?
It's back on. It's still actually on that same post that I read earlier about is it legal for the prosecution in Indiana to hold back evidence that isn't in the PCA and search warrant, which was written by someone named Blackberry, or Blackberry J 94 days ago.
Yeah, it's just that when you're looking at it, I mean, that sentence is to me like telling, because he's saying question mark, sure, but then it says seems like quite a breach for that to have happened, as if right. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, it's kind of like, so you seen the video question mark. It's like seems like quite a breach for that to have happened. So it's almost like this person has said, I saw the full video, but whatever. So that's what it sounds like to me when I read that anyways. So I hope you are right, as that removes a lot of the issues no matter what happens at suppression. If the evidence, then the defense better have seen it this far in. Hard to argue it would be newly discovered if it is what you say. Moscow. I go back and forth because RA seems to have put himself there, but we won't know for sure until we see the actual statement. Remember, though, we haven't seen his actual statement or the conversation to know. We only have a description of that convo. I've heard different things around this, which is why getting to see or hear the legit comments is important. And then that says Fishers. It sounds like She did say that too, but this guy clung to the not blue statement. Any certainty should not be clarified further if you are law enforcement, because a lawyer has to go into the court and use that information. Now they have to go around your unnecessary statement. Moscow, Moscow. Can you help me out on what we talked about? I didn't see anything matching that on the return for the search of Alan's property. They were pumping ton. No, that's Moscow. Right, I understand that, but the idea was that they found a trophy at Rick's place is what I'm talking about. I have no doubt something was taken, but I haven't heard something was found in his possession. I'd talk about it to someone that can get me the linguist documents. People don't understand that. People don't understand. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying, I saw one of the Moscow murder ones that it's funny because on August 22nd there was a post on Moscow murders subreddit that said, "I have all these fears about Delphi. I wish everyone knew everything but the gag order and issues with LE and the court have things in a really tough spot. I fear that one of the guilty parties is going to walk because of LE errors."
Oh, is that for the Moscow one? For Idaho?
Yeah, but he's talking about Delphi in that.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I went off the page because I was too busy on there. Oh, okay. Where is it? Where is it? Which one?
It was August 22nd. He says, "I have all these fears about Delphi. I wish everyone knew everything, but the gag order and issues with LE and court have things in a really tough spot. I fear that one of the guilty parties is going to walk because of LE errors." And again, you can take that as well. He might have said he has the same fears with Delphi, and then he might have gone on to say something about Moscow, but I found that interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read for a minute, Sonny?
Wow. 2 minutes. Come on. I can do more.
Okay, you do more.
I'll do.
Actually, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna go to bed. You just take over and you read the rest. Good night. Mwah.
You shut up and you stay where you're I'm going to read this one and this one. I think I'm at the I talk about it.
August.
I'm on August 28th.
Just finish August.
Yeah, I'll finish August. How about I do that, Adam? It was my idea. Okay. People don't people don't understand that something that they can understand might mean something to someone. Oh, there's a sentence right there. People don't understand that something they can't understand might mean something to someone. Say that 10 times fast. That knows more about the things in question, or it can be put to bed with legitimate knowledge and not lacking understanding. And then Moscow. That's nothing. That's Reddit. It's that one. Okay, Libby and Abby. Here's the discussion on them. Let's see here. Someone told me that they were sending it to me tomorrow, but that was 4 days ago, and then they disappeared. I'm actually a little worried about them. They did really downplay them as a waste, but one's man's waste could spark something for another. I just want to see what it is, and if I can take anything from it for use in another manner, or maybe I can decipher something with the stuff I have that isn't known everywhere. I don't know. I won't know until I see it for myself. I just don't trust anyone else after I'm able to confirm something as true that has been said false by someone that appears on national TV in regards to this type of stuff as an expert. And I'm sure if we click on that, it's going to be nothing. Okay. Boom. Thank you. Now, what the hell did I just read? Yes, Adam. What the hell did they just read? Boom. I can see it.
Where are you at, by the way? I lost my...
It's your turn now. We're on August 29th, right at the start of it. Why don't you just go to bed now? I'll take care of it from here.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead, buddy. Can you see it? August 29th.
Yeah, but I read one that I thought I didn't hear you read.
Oh. Me? Make a mistake? Are you sure?
No, you would never.
Never. And did you? No, I don't see any. Nope. I think
Um,
you've been drinking.
no, I
Yeah,
wish.
yeah. No,
All
you're
right.
on August
Anyway,
29th there, bud.
all right. August 29th. Are you on the Libby and Abby one that says that this does not ring true?
Yeah.
This does not ring true to me, as there was been depositions ongoing for a while now. A week since he said that we knew there were some happening. I would expect to see the necessary filings in regards to suppression franks at any moment based on what information I have heard.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean there haven't been conversations, but I would say that those would have come from the result of depositions, if anything. People need to remember that all of these people have other cases, as both McClellan and Baldwin had separate murder cases they were working since the last hearing in some capacity, with Baldwin actually taking one to trial down in Brown County. And that's true.
Hmm.
Libby and Abby, well, she is wrong. Libby and Abby, it's definitely out of nowhere, as in it didn't happen and other stuff is being worked. This is someone guessing based on the fact that they don't know what has been happening, deposing of people involved. So they fill in the blank with what they think. Now, maybe you could convince me that Nick McClellan wants to present options because he has realized he's in a bad spot, but I haven't heard that myself. And I apologize. My cat is trying to pull my phone out of my hand.
Is that Beatrice? Beatrice.
Yeah.
Did you lose your spot?
Yeah. Give me just a minute because it just pulled me out of it.
Yeah. It's definitely out of nowhere is the next one. Do you have to reload? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it pulled me out of it, so it's like, it would only load 100 at a time.
Okay.
Okay, I was on September what?
No, you're on August 29th. It definitely is out of nowhere.
No, he read that one.
Did you read that one? Then it's the one above it.
Yeah, it's the one. Yeah, it's up to the prosecutor.
It's up to the prosecutor, and there has been absolutely zero talk of that at this point so far. I would hope that they would push for it if they had sufficient evidence, but it might be a risk in a felony murder situation with the climate around that nationwide. You leave yourself open to spending the money on it and having it tossed down the road. August 29th, Libby and Abby subreddit, he says, by nobody, because it's an absolute rubbish and there have been no talks of this kind to date. Delphi trials, August 30th. Was it the symbol formed with the 3 branches?
And can you guys hit that like button for us if you don't mind?
We had no,
Thank you.
Delphi trial, then on August 30th, he says this is not true. August 31st, in Delphi trial, he says this: the police had a Sons of Odin expert during their investigation. A quick glance at a Facebook pages will show a lot. Huh, I wonder what that means. Delphi trial, August 31st. This is why I have issues with all of the information. I feel like it's someone taking great liberties with information to meet their ideas. The client involvement stuff and the cooperation stuff by RA don't check what I know.
Huh. That's interesting.
What? Go ahead,
Sorry,
Alexa. Oh no, Alexa said that was interesting. Yeah, that was it.
So, August 31st, in Libby and Abby subreddit, FORTSON says, this is a good point, but the rule is DP. An LWOP qualified, so the LWOP could be the play there.
What's LWOP stand for?
I'm trying to think of that now.
Yeah. Alexa,
I don't
thoughts?
know. I was gonna ask you. I don't know.
Anyone in
Anyone
chat? Yeah.
anyone in chat, what does LWOP stand for? Last will no.
Yeah.
A person? No, I don't know.
And we'll keep
Life
reading it
oh,
all.
life without parole?
Yeah.
Life.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
makes sense.
Yes, that's what
Okay,
it is.
that's a good point. But the rule is
Thanks,
DP and
criminality.
life without parole qualified. Thank you very much, Teresa.
Oh, you're on
Um,
first name basis, are you? Hi, Teresa. I'm just gonna
I
call
know
her.
I've never spoken to Teresa, but I've heard people call her Teresa, so
Yeah, I
I'm
know actually.
I'm just gonna take that leap.
Yeah.
So on August 31st in Libby and Abby's subreddit, he says, "What if he needed to take responsibility to make life easier or to protect someone else? Lots of interviews take place according to the documents being shared. I stand by the fact that his cooperation hasn't happened yet. That doesn't mean it won't, and it doesn't mean that it hasn't leaked, that the prosecution plans to push him on that." The two sides sat in a room together quite a bit during depositions, so it only seems logical that they may chat a little.
Mm.
Libby and Abby, August 31st. Yeah, this rings true. You can even bend it in a certain way to say that she could potentially need to stick by him and that he may need to cooperate for her sake, depending on how all those interviews went. Interesting stuff. Delphi trial, August 31st. I don't want to name any names, but I've seen it on here referenced by others. I just have been told that LE had someone from ISP that was an expert on the Sons of Odin during the investigation. The expert was an ISP guy himself, supposedly. That particular topic relates to someone that has been mentioned previously through their social media posts. Delphi murders on September 1st. Betsy Blair is the source of the young bridge guy sketch. She is essentially a witness for the defense at this point, from what I'm told, because of her insistence on his age. I would imagine that the defense will get her deposed, so she is under oath with that prior to dropping their next motion. The idea that Alan is currently cooperating is completely fabricated, even if that is the plan by the prosecution to pressure him into threatening to charge his wife with something. That post is telling. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Delphi murders, September 1st. I actually think if you look at him in 2017 and cover him up some, that he could be confused for a younger guy, especially because of his height. Throw in the fact that the first platform is further than people think, and him having on a hat and whatnot, and is easy to just be a simple matter of being mistaken on her part. Delphi murders, September 1st. Someone is mad that I have info that they don't again. LOL.
That's not telling at all.
Delphi murders, September 1st. I know who the young bridge guy sketch is attributed to. I'll say this. Well, you already did, dude. You already said Betsy Blair.
I know.
I'll say
Yeah.
this. Go stand at the end of the trail where the bridge starts and have someone stand on the first platform location looking down at the water with the stuff that BG had on and tell me how clear of a shot you have at making a description. Well, someone should send this to Nick McClellan. Now, throw in the fact that most of us don't have perfect vision once we are adults, and you get my point. Rick can pass for a younger person in 2017 with his size and face, especially with what he was wearing and the distance, in my opinion. And then we have a geography post, and then I'm sorry, Sonny.
Again, oh no, I was going to say again. So the Franks, that motion at 136 came out September 18th. With all these names like freaking in it.
Right. Well, that's when the memorandum came out. I can't
Sorry,
remember. I can't
the
remember when the Frank
memorandum.
motion
Sorry,
was.
not the Franks. Right, the memorandum. The one that we got.
Yeah.
And then they quickly took that down.
Again, then Delphi murder, September 1st. I'm skeptical of all eyewitness testimony. It is nothing against her, as I believe she is being 100% honest with what she thinks she saw. But I've stood there and I've looked, and I have a different opinion on how confident anyone could be in that situation, and especially if they didn't know that they were going to need to remember it. Well, that could be said for any eyewitness testimony. That is just my personal opinion, and I have no doubt in her integrity or character at all. I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
Delphi trial subreddit, September 1st. I think people are reading that wrong. He's saying that the next piece to come out will be interesting, and that the piece isn't that others are involved. That doesn't mean others aren't involved. We are waiting on a defense filing, and that will likely be very interesting if it makes its way to the public, which is always iffy in this case, it seems. Well, and I guess the Supreme Court needs that post.
Supreme Court, yeah.
Friday, September 1st in the Delphi trial subreddit, he says, "Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't believe almost anything at this point with how this thing has gone. I've definitely long been an RA as a lone wolf guy, but I know others don't share that belief." September 1st in the Delphi murder subreddit, he says, "That isn't a theory. It's simply a piece of information that you still seem to not understand. That can be true and ultimately unrelated at the same time, which is my belief, by the way. You seem to mistake my beliefs and this information I'm sharing quite often."
Jeez.
That last sentence to me is very telling.
Yeah.
You seem to mistake my beliefs with information I'm sharing quite often.
Yeah.
Because I noticed a complete contrast in some of his beliefs and some of the stuff he says, which I think is telling. I think that's makes sense if they're relaying information they've been given by someone else.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I'll read a few more and then I'll let you take over for a few minutes, Sonny. September 1st, Delphi murders. You seem to confuse what I believe with information I'm sharing. Information can be true and ultimately unrelated also, which I personally believe about that info. Now check the messages in your other account. Haha. What facts? The stuff you referenced is something someone involved in this case was looking at one point. There's no disputing that. 2 police officers did a polygraph related to it. Period. That's interesting. We were talking 2 different things there. My bad. No. If you want to talk, then I'll talk about that. Then I'll state right now. Betsy Blair will not be a witness the prosecution likes or uses. She will help the defense, in my opinion. I agree, Robert. She says she saw a younger guy. I was addressing what you referenced in our chat. I said my bad. Let's focus on young bridge guy, sketch, or whatever you want. It doesn't matter ultimately. You can just move on. I know what I know, and it doesn't matter if you believe me or not. I'm kicked up enjoying a beer at the crib. His DNA is not linking him that I know of, but I can't speak to whether DNA was found anywhere that could tie him, but it wasn't his. Living the Abbey, September 2nd. I don't think it'll be an issue if they have that. If they have all that it seems they have. So I'll let you read for a minute.
Okay.
That comment about the beer, I was like, oh.
Yeah. You gonna go get one?
Well, no. I'm just like, just knowing what we know now.
Oh, okay.
That's such a human thing to write, like, and that was Labor Day weekend, and I think any of us can put ourselves back where we were Labor Day weekend, and then to now know that he's not here. That's
sad.
That's heavy. So. No, I'll let you read for just a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So it is. There was most certainly signatures. I'm just going to try to highlight this read like writing of someone many have looked at, and it's very strange. I think it's likely fraud. But it's strange that a person willing to do something like that also happened to open an account on that day. Pretty, wait, yeah, am I reading the right thing? I had to take a look and make sure I was still reading from Delphi. Pretty lucky trolling. It definitely reads like the deranged writings of someone most know, though. Okay. Correct. His DNA was not at the crime scene. Okay, there you go. Okay, guys. Take that with whatever you will. It doesn't match RA or is being hidden, which would be even worse, but wouldn't surprise me from this crew. Exactly. But I think the whole thing and all the cameras had these guys out of their element. Hopefully, they didn't set themselves up for failure. Indianapolis FBI officer has a bad reputation. I know someone tied to there, and he is an absolute goof. I have no doubt their meddling held this thing up. I can name things he is 100% wrong about. No, but there was three branches on AW, but really, okay. But lots of leaves all over in general. So this is September 3rd, by the way. No, but there were three branches on AW, Abby Williams. But lots of the leaves are all over in general. Say that again. Come on, man. You are taking my gimmick of disproving nonsense. I can only comment on some of it though, but at least it's a couple of us now. No DNA of RA, definitely signatures. Well, if I'm getting downvoted, then I'll earn it. No plea talks are happening. No cooperation is happening. No Rick DNA at the scene. There were signatures at the scene. No negotiations. No plea deal filing this week. But I don't know if we will see any of it outside of something generic. So we're on September 4th here, by the way. Some of the investigators still aren't on the same page completely. Next comment, he is correct. You are asking the wrong questions. Ask yourself how you can help get him where a lie isn't needed. Communicate more and help each other out. He sounds like he will do anything to make that happen. Think about how you can help him with that slowly. So, isn't that some SEX 101 coaching? Men are easy, but I'm guessing
Hey, Sunny,
there are.
that's not Delphi.
Oh, two hot takes.
That's a relationship subreddit.
Okay, now. Okay. Thanks, because you just kind of get used to just scrolling
No,
up.
I know.
Yeah. So you guys, yeah, just ixnay on that one. So I can say unequivocally that Dread Pirate, which is okay. So Dread Pirate is exactly who he says he is.
Right, that's September 5th, right?
Yeah, September 5th. He proved it to me. Now, Dread Pirate, that's Mark Roberts.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He
or Mark Cohen, whatever you want to.
Mark Roberts Cohen. Yeah. He proved it to me without even being asked because of a flippant comment I made. He's legit. I can't speak to his information at all, but I do know that the discovery was leaked accidentally for certain, so it's quite possible he is in possession of everything he says he is. I can confirm a few major pieces he said are true. Some stuff I can't speak to, and two items seem logical conclusions being drawn that aren't quite accurate per my information. So take it all for what it's worth, but he is who he says he is, in my opinion.
Right. And I think if you look at that post, I think so. On September 5th, you have Robert FORTSON, who I think at this point was already being leaked information by Mitch Westerman. And I think that it's the first time publicly he mentions that he had a connection to Dread Pirate, who's Mark Cohen. Mark Cohen, I think, had been given leaked information by Brandon Woodhouse prior to this.
Right.
And so I think that this combination of Robert FORTSON having leaked information from Mitch Westerman and Mark Cohen having leaked information from Brandon Woodhouse formed this kind of friendship, immediate bond where they knew they both were in possession of things that other people weren't, and they were able to form a friendship. And I'm not limiting it to just that information, but I think that was something that bonded them, and I think they were able to then connect those two things. But again, that's just my opinion.
And it counts. It counts. It counts too, Adam. Okay. So there is a rundown, shitty little shack. Is that the Love Shack, Adam? I think that's the Love Shack they're talking about on that one. I was just there and have a photo of it. I do not believe it has anything to do with the crime at all. Exactly. Some YouTube folks moved on to the different cases to grift when the information started flowing too. This jives with all the information and is well done. I see another comment that says exactly what I know, and that this is BB will not be a good. So Betsy Blair will not be a good witness for the prosecution, which is not good for the BCA unless they already planned on that. I fully expect something today, Friday, by COB, but you never know uh, how it's gone thus far. I don't know what we'll be able to see of that work, though, other than that it happened by COB. Tell me what that stands for.
Close of
Bureau.
close of business.
Oh, by close of business. Okay, thank you. I'm not used to some of these abbreviations like SOB, son of a bitch. I know that one. Okay. Oh, I think that's what he actually meant too. I was just kidding. Oh no, didn't you hear that last live? He's the toughest SOB on earth. It was a good show, but they have finally got onto the right stuff. But he had derailed them to talk about how tough he is.
Oh, I have to click on the link
Yeah,
to see who they're talking about.
yeah. Click
Nope,
on it.
never mind.
Uh, what does it
Continue.
say? Okay. Facepalm. None of you fixed it. Is the next thing. I can't hear anything from the audio at all, just noise. Okay, who are you? Who are you? Nothing, nothing. Testing one,
You know
two.
what I think they're talking about there is someone released that audio where they thought there were two different voices saying
Right,
things
down.
on the downhill audio. I
Right.
believe that's what they're discussing at that point. Just
Okay.
going back in my memory from early September.
Yeah. Okay. And then it says, none of that is true, but go off. You have been dismissive and disrespectful on here. And what I typed was a direct quote from an Indiana defense attorney about what you wrote. That isn't trolling, it's your own medicine. Do you have any more filings coming in this case? LOL. Um, mhm. I think you have more coming on this based on what I read. I don't need to because when the coming filing hits my case and Odyssey, you'll be able to look it over. You should be proud you got your own shared shout out on Murder Sheet, not angry. Huh. Even people
Remember,
on,
that's
hey,
only at that point we're 4 days away from the
it being
memorandum
blocked.
being filed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even people on Shack Twin, a fool, still get their very own segment on TNT. It's an honor, even if it's a blooper reel. You were disrespectful in trying to big time people when your own record leaves you. Your ex. Hold on, let me read that again. You were disrespectful in lying to big time people when your own record leaves your expertise in question. Don't talk down to people when you aren't certain, and even then, don't do it if you can't take it. Yeah, you tell them, whoever you're talking to. And you have,
Helix,
hey,
something. Someone, I think it was someone named Helix they were talking to on Reddit. I can't remember.
okay. And you have your little buddies down, vote me all you want. It doesn't make you any less wrong or laughed out of court. This this isn't it. Just wait. Something like that. Patience. I'll go to the 15th, okay, Adam? I'll go up on
Yeah,
the
you could.
Okay. I absolutely would be a stretch to say hundreds on cars drove past that camera in a time frame related to the crime. Anyone who's been to the CPS location would know that. The timing of when Alan encountered three girls makes it nearly impossible for him to have parked elsewhere. You will, whatever that means. That was never true. Strictly online nonsense. Exact opposite of what is going on at that time. And then it's the 15th now.
The Delphi Murders subreddit, he says, I told people all of this, but when people look at bootleg lawyers on the Delphi docs, I told people all of this, but when people look at bootleg lawyers on the Delphi doc sub as credible, then it's easy to understand. Apparently getting laughed out of this very court and sued for $10K doesn't discredit people enough. The next one is the Delphi Murders on September 15th. He says they settled for $3,500. If I remember correctly, you can look it up on my case. And if you don't know what they're talking about, he's talking about a civil suit that Angela, someone from the
Sadlowski.
Yeah, I think she's got another channel that's like, I don't know, R&B, R&M something. And then there's like a Sue Wright woman. There was a civil lawsuit that everyone can look up. That's what that's referring to. I presume. And I'm not judging any of those people. I think that's what that's referring to. Libby and Abby, September 15th. What do you do with a rifle before you use it? Delphi Murders, September 15th. Yeah. No, they don't. This person has loose screws and is mentally ill. Well, I'm a little curious who that is.
That's me. They're talking about me, Adam.
Oh yeah, that's the person that speculated there was gas mask and bug spray. Again, September 15th. That's Rich coming from you. I've never met anyone more unstable than you. I'm shocked you two don't get along. You both.
I like this one.
That's Rich coming from you. I've never met anyone more unstable than you. I'm shocked you two don't get along. You both have absolute garbage for sources and knowledge. You live in a fairy tale world. I'm going to screenshot that for my wedding vows one day.
I was going to say, some of these comments are a little bit funny on that.
When Tom Webster and I get married, I'm going to read that at our vows.
Okay.
Delphi Murders, September 15th. Dude, you can't be that slow. A motion has to be filed first, then the judge will decide if a hearing is happening. You saw the opening salvo yesterday. Delphi Murders, September 15th. No, but I'm not walking through legal stuff. That is over your little gamer brain. September 15th. It's okay. Just say you are clueless and here for info. September 15th. I've been talking about Frank since it was made clear in legal proceedings that it's the next significant thing. Yes, not my fault. You are too far out to get it. That is incorrect. The state agencies won the case against the two ladies that sued them. Then they graciously allowed the ladies to settle. I don't have issues with lawyers, friends with many. I have one account on here. I do have issues with people making inaccurate statements, especially when it is a lawyer talking down to people. I haven't doxed anyone. I'm good. Thanks for all the advice. I was really thinking to myself, where is that admirable sentence 721 to let me know what to do and say? Then we have the Moscow Murders, then Delphi Trial. Agreed. I don't need my info filtered for me by someone else's opinion and biases. I want to see the information and interpret it for myself. I found talking to people on this very platform that people either completely miss stuff, ignore it, or make great leaps with information. I'm good on all of that. They can keep it. Idaho Murders, then Libby and Abby, September 17th. He says, there is another filing coming. I see across all these boards that you think you have seen the Frank motion, and you have not. You saw someone zeroing in their rifle. This is one day before the memory comes out.
This next sentence. The next sentence. Suck it, nerd.
Suck it, nerd. Suck it, nerds. September 18th. This was at 8 a.m. GMT time. It says if anyone has access to Odyssey, then that is where it could be viewed potentially. September 18th. Oh, it's juicy. Hold on to your hats. Someone posted it on the docs sub. I knew someone would either be on the media list or have Odyssey. Fair warning, the crime scene stuff could be a lot for some people.
Yeah, the stuff in the memorandum. Yeah.
September 18th, Libby and Abby. It's out on the doc sub now. It's a lot. Fair warning. It brings a lot of stuff into the public view, though, which opens up a lot of cans of worms. It's going to have pros and cons because of the avenues it could lead. But I think it's going to rattle a lot of trees and hopefully lead to some talking on the part of someone. Rattle a lot of trees. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and the very next comment.
Yeah.
Interesting. September 18th, people are lying here. Tony Liggett, it seems. It was lodged in the dirt partially.
Is that the phone?
The bullet.
The bullet, right.
Well, here we can look. Let me just click on the link.
No, that would be the bullet.
Yeah, it was the bullet.
Yeah.
Photo of bullet in ground, yeah. Libby and Abby subreddit on September 18th. It says, right, but if it was ejected and on the soft ground, then stepped on by anyone, there it would end up on the ground. There was clearly a lot going on the phone. Ended up under a shoe, under Abby. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of comments here on the September 18th. But
yeah.
Nick McClellan caught holding stuff back. Liggett lying multiple times. Holman looking like a good for not wanting, like a goof for not wanting to investigate anything. And being less than forthcoming. This is bad, bad, bad. Right in there for all to see. Rick Allen Whiteman was the clerical error. Oh, hey. That's funny. Didn't he mention that 2.5 months ago?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sorry. September 18th, July 5th. Oh, yeah, 2.5 months ago. He mentioned Richard Allen Whiteman.
Yeah.
September 18th on Delphi trial, he says, so much doubt when I told people this. Oh, it looks like he literally linked back to a previous comment of his.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To the one where he said it.
Yeah. Meaning he knew it.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't guessing. He knew it.
He knew the information, but came off like it was just, oh, I think I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right about this.
So even if someone said that he could have just been speculating at that point, he literally linked back to it and said, everyone thought I was lying, but look. Okay, September 18th. Libby and Abby subreddit. Well, there's stuff in there if you actually take the time to read it that is outside of that and resolves around Nick McClellan and Tony Liggett and Tobe and Holman's conduct with the defense in this thing. Whether you believe Rick did this or was involved or whatever about Odinism, someone staged that stuff. And Ellie has been less than forthcoming, clearly. So kick rocks with it. It's just these people that I can't name because I can't apart from that. And I can't bad stuff here. I'm also not convinced of anything yet and still fully believe Rick Allen was involved most likely. So now, I don't know if everyone's noticed, like, the last time he talked about Rick Allen's guilt or innocence, he said he believed Rick Allen was guilty, was a lone wolf, and that no one else was involved. And now in September, he's saying he believes that Rick Allen is not convinced of anything, but he still fully believes Rick Allen is involved most likely.
You guys keep it classy in the chat, Chevy Killer. I'm not sure who you're talking with there, but keep it classy, okay? You guys can agree to disagree, whatever you guys are talking about. Okay.
What are you talking
Fair
about?
warning.
Yeah,
Fair warning.
conversation?
Okay.
No, I was just listening to you.
On there. But yeah, just keep it nice, guys. You guys can agree to disagree, whatever it is.
I'm gonna read a few more, and then I'm gonna let you take over, Sunny, for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. The ground was wet and muddy from the previous snow melt. Do you live in Indiana? Do you haunt the woods in winter months? It is very plausible to anyone who has ever been in the woods after snow that was melted off that young bridge guy, an increase in temperatures that was melted off young bridge guy, an increase in temperatures. This isn't rocket scientists. Or rocket science. Nothing was carved. Okay, September 18th says nothing was carved. Branches were used to make symbols on the girls. An F was out in the tree in blood. Horns were put on Abby.
Still like to see where those horns are.
He didn't though. They told you he did. He admitted to being there from noon to 1:30. Now what is the truth of the matter? So I think we're seeing a very stark contrast in like the narrative here.
Right.
Once this is released.
Yeah.
Agreed. The prosecution has to pull a rabbit here, and then you get into issues with misconduct. I'll read one more, and then I'll let Sunny take over for a minute. The problem with that is the pagan stuff isn't an angle. It's everywhere. Now, does that mean it's involved? No. Could have been staging to implicate others, or maybe someone is an expert at hiding the stuff he's into. But it's certainly not some 40-year-old gimmick. The other pieces are what will be a problem. Nick McClellan getting a certified letter from a guy in law enforcement and not discovering it for the defense, along with apparently a bunch of other stuff. Oh yeah, and we can't remember the name of the Purdue guy. Also, Tony Liggett completely using his imagination on the search warrant PCA when it comes to Blair, Carborough, and Rick. Holman went, that means nothing. He's not a part of this. So let me interview BHO again real quick. Then they tried to hide that, so we're guarding Rick. Why? That thing stinks. No matter what happens, and I can still believe just about anything. I hope that LE are held accountable, as they have found many ways to mess this up more than anyone could have imagined.
Okay. So it says nope. He said that there was that he was there from noon to 1:30, and it's on tape. Liggett said he was there between 1:30 and 3. He got you. Go to his pic and go to April 7th, 2017. That is exactly what they are telling you. It's recorded on film. He is saying noon to 1:30. That's in the 2022 thing. Liggett used that 1:30 time to be able to lump him into time framing starting at 1:30. It is deceitful, and it is going to be an issue. Betsy Blair was a young guy sketch, and Carbo was the old guy sketch. Interesting. All of that sounds very different than what was framed up in the PCA, just like Rick's statement. I agree with all of this. It's nuts. I have zero insight into what to think now more than ever. I still think a highly motivated person could have done it, but that's a stretch. I think I sit with RA as BG. He had help from some local buds who they themselves dabbled in this weird LARPing shit. They may have been the ultimate perps. Then I ask myself, why not snitch? But who goes down there to also maybe the guards in the Odin patches have him scared? This case is too wild, and I'm really hoping this filing causes people to talk and that the truth is what comes out, no matter what that looks like. So to me, it's just like they've read this thing now and they're having conversations about it. Those will likely not see the light of day yet since it all got taken down. I highly doubt that photos and all that were e-filed. I can send it. Definitely possible that is it. Comment. I was I was talking the crime scene photos and other exhibits listed. I doubt those were e-filed since it would be a large file for that. They were likely filed in person. I really wanted to see the comment below. Done. You answer your own question there about why they hid the details because they viewed them as relevant and wanted to avoid tipping off the local Odin enthusiasts of the spotlight on them. Well, or was it well thought out misdirection? Maybe, but it certainly deserved more of a look. The real problems are the lies in regards to the statement from Betsy Carbo and Rick Allen, plus the lack of turning over discovery by Nick and Holman's indifference and lack of curiosity in his role as an investigator. We will see what Nick says next, as I'm sure he will be allowed to at this point. I know I'm not soft. I fight back. Haha. I mean, how many footnotes and references and receipts do we need here? He's got them in a tough spot, and there is an obvious trap set for at least one of them that I see, but I bet they don't, unfortunately. Agreed. And I see several traps set in that writing that I'm not sure anyone I've spoken to about this case will catch, and certainly not the guys that investigated it. We shall see if they fall in. Huh. Oh, look at the next comment. Huh. I would say that this is someone who has been there. It is possible that someone had been down there and cut a tree down or cut up a fallen tree if it was in the way of the hunter, of their hunting area or whatever. So a cut branch could have been just left in that area, possibly. It wouldn't have had to been done in the commission of the crime or in relation to the crime, but stuff could have been used in staging. I can tell you this. Oh, thank you, thank you, husband. I can tell you this. We never get to this point if they take Alan and the new Odin stuff seriously to begin with. Richard Whiteman says, say it with me, Doolin. Being a smartass. Okay. Wow. That even less intelligent than what I thought I would read. The bullet was not intentionally ejected, most likely. He absolutely could have stepped on it and smashed it in the mud. This person has zero experience with firearms. Nope. I've seen that with a faulty signal. That's a point getting lost. That person, whoever it was, is very curious. I think that the exhibits that were filed in person due to the size of the files is likely this was filed then. Fort Wayne is a little drive for anyone involved, so that could be why it took a little time. Could be that he did a really bad job. If so, and don't say he stopped because he did use similar techniques on both arrangements. Also, no way for us to know that, and there isn't a consensus on the amongst experts if they watch the clip. Again, I've said it a million times. When you're talking about information, stop conflating that with someone's personal position. Are you sticking by your statement about cooperation or plea talks? What about DNA? I hope that DNA thing is untrue since Liggett and the crew are on the record saying it doesn't match. The rendering looks like much more than someone describing it to her. She clearly had everything shared with her. I wonder how many. Nope, that's not part of it. Moscow. You don't believe there should be a photo of the bullet at the crime scene beyond one that is stuck in the ground? Please never get into any field that requires one to be thorough. Not at all. Confessions are equal. BTK detailings things versus they're gone and it's my fault has been rumored, and they are not the same thing. Also, false confessions happen frequently and would be more likely if he was being tased and messed with in Westville by goons that think that it's okay to wear personal flair on their official uniforms. The asterisk is, go ahead.
Clearly, this is after the document has come out.
Yes, right, exactly. The asterisk is clearly a rune. Okay, so now, well, now he's lost my respect on this one. The asterisk is clearly a rune. Now, was it meant to be one? I don't know. I looked it up and found 3 different meanings. Mother, serpent, strength. Who knows, but it jives with this is about power to you. Okay, agreed. It's very specific and detailed. Are you suggesting she randomly chose to place dots that way? How did she decide large from small, the clusters? Big stretch, in my opinion.
Right. They're talking about Barbara McDonald here, clearly.
I was going to say, they're talking about, right. Yeah. I meant that shape as a rune. I have no idea if whoever meant it that way, but it is in fact a rune, whether intentional or unintentional. Well, see, that doesn't, you can't say that. Maybe it looks like a rune doesn't mean, even though it's saying unintentional, right? He's saying like it's a rune, it is in fact a rune. No, it doesn't have to be a rune, but could just be that the sticks were
But
placed that way.
it's important that he acknowledges
Yes.
that whatever it is could be meant to look that way. So
Yeah.
I think that whatever was even being disseminated by the defense at this point, was even being given the context of well, it might not actually be that, but it could just be made to look that way.
Yeah. My husband just brought me in a sandwich. Can you take over again?
In just a minute, I can.
Oh, what you doing? Okay. Oh, I'll read it for a second then. I read the motion, how they have it here. I agree. She's a national media personality and has what is considered the most recognized podcast series and special on the case. So she clearly has developed some relationships there in Delphi. She just appeared to talk about this. I would think she is reputable. I just simply found the F to be oddly specific in how it's portrayed, nothing more or less. You're right. I missed it. That was the only next sentence about the left hand being near the left side of her face. Wow, that definitely seems even more intentional. Well, because their job isn't to prove him innocent, it is a prosecution. That's on the prosecution to prove him guilty. The defense needs to insert reasonable doubt. This is likely their step as they get these ideas out there, so that isn't all introduced at trial all at once. They have no need to address Doolin's handwritten scrap notes when he threw the entire investigation off by getting Rick Allen's name wrong. That statement isn't going to do well. The video recorded one is what they will address, and evidently they say he said noon to 1:30 there.
All right. The reason I couldn't start and she's still doing it. Beatrice is using the litter box and it's loud. But you want to get your brain tied in knots. Two of the officers involved in the polygraph of the sister of EF have died under odd circumstances since then. One, Stephanie Thomas in a suspicious fire with her daughter in Monticello, Indiana, and the other in a Molotov cocktail attack on the FBI field office that drew Greg Ferenczi, where he was shot and killed by Shane Amian, who had an interesting look. Can we get to trial and get this over with? The insanity ends. The article said undetermined, so I take that as suspicious. I stand corrected if they have since ruled it electrical. Interesting. Thanks for sharing. Very tragic. Good looking out. Haha, I'm dumb. Go read it again. He's under oath in a deposition. In the Libby Abbey subreddit on September 20th, he writes, the defense document from Monday, it says, and actually I'm not going to read that because it's literally just a quote from it, but 184 litigant firms, he has testified that he's unaware of anything that links Richard to the crime through his phone. I'm going to skip that. September 20th, Libby and Abbey subreddit says, that's kind of the point if you look at how all of these are used by other people mentioned. They mimic stuff someone is already doing. September 20th, 2023, I quoted it, copy and paste, try again. It actually is mentioned 13 times, and that is straight from the document where I copied that, and there are footnotes referencing the court reporter's transcript from the deposition as well. Context does matter. Well, since he said context does matter, let's look at the original post and see what he's talking about. They're talking about the court TV images. So they're talking about the Barbara McDonald images there. Page 29 on the first paragraph of part 5, sorry. Libby and Abby, I don't disagree with you, but I think when you see it and the comparison to the person in question's own use of branches and sticks in the same manner, and then know they're linked to the victims, it gives a little bit more credence. I agree it's a stretch, though, but they are looking for a reasonable doubt in front of a jury. So I want to stop really quickly and just say, so this is September 20th, 2023. And for anyone that's been watching, like that watched the live last night, where we shared the Facebook Messenger post between FORTSON and Mark Cohen discussing the F-tree picture. I think like the point we're at with the Reddit post is the part where FORTSON is starting to become increasingly frustrated with the public's perception of the F-tree pictures. I'm going to mute myself for 1 second, Sunny.
Okay, I hear Beatrice. Hi, Alexa. Hi, guys. Interesting. I like that he's well spoken. Forston, obviously it's a given here in this, though, that he, had way advanced information. That's clear on that. But it's still interesting to read someone's, that's balanced in a sense, like their thoughts and looking at the different sides. You know what I mean? Like unintentional or intentional type of idea. Anyways.
Yeah. Hey, Kelt, she is very clean.
What was the last date RF could have posted? I think that was like the 5th of November or 6th. I think that's what you're talking about. Okay. You trying to find your spot again?
Oh no, she's not done.
Okay, well, thanks again to Charmaine for all those people that got the 10 memberships in the chat.
Okay.
And hey, you're interrupting my infomercial right here. Please hit that like and subscribe if you have not. And thank you for joining It's a Crime and Shame. Thank you. You can go now.
Okay, she's all done. I apologize for that. But she's very clean, which I do appreciate. I do want to say, what was the last? Kelt says, what was the last date that Robert Fortson could have posted? And that would have been October 11th.
Oh, okay. Because I only thought it went up to October. Wait, what are we in? November? Thought it was. Was it October?
Yes.
Wow, time flies. Holy shit. Okay.
Well, and right now we're in September reading the post.
Yeah.
Granted, I've lost my place a little bit.
I think you're at right there where it says I don't disagree with you. Did you read that one? If you were no, I think we're at that one. September 20th. I don't disagree with you, but I think you see it. Yeah, we're at that one.
Can you go to read it, and then I'll catch up.
Okay. I don't disagree with you, but I think when you see it and the comparison to the person in question, zone use of branches and sticks in the same manner, and then they're linked to the victims, it gives a little bit more credence. I agree it's a stretch, though, but they are looking for a reasonable doubt in front of a jury. Dude, it isn't go ahead.
Yeah, I got it. Libby and Abby, dude, it isn't an opinion. It is literally Andrew Baldwin taking a numbered line from a transcript of the deposition and repeating it here in his document. There's a footnote to that line, but you can't see the deposition transcript to connect the dots. If you take that footnote reference and then compare it to that number on Tony Liggett's deposition, then you will find the line from him. Those boys from Carroll County got played in those depositions, unfortunately. I hope they don't double down on that and set themselves up again. Libby and Abby, September 20th. It's Sorry, it's literally not an opinion. It's a quote of Tony Liggett, and you can't comprehend anything. September 20th. Exactly. Everyone says it's nothing. Says it nothing are literally going against all of LA, and anyone has seen the crime scene. None of this excludes Rick, by the way. Libby and Abby, I want to hear somebody defend the offenses committed by Liggett, Holman, and McClellan. I also want to see someone explain how the defense pointing out that they didn't put there is some absurdity. Everyone on the side of law enforcement has hinted at these very things, from Carter to Ives to McClellan, etc. The defense just packaged it all up and used it to defend their client. If you look at the branches on the girls, and then the social media accounts in question, then it is impossible to say that there aren't similarities. Then you get into the connection between people, and it starts to look like Rick had some help from someone really into this stuff. Like there clearly are. Surely nobody is denying that obvious fact. Or they arranged stuff in eerily similar fashion to make it look that way. Or it was a crazy coincidence. Again, I don't think this changes much in how I see Rick, but I think it gives credence to him having help potentially. And I certainly don't think it's something to dismiss out of hand. First, address the egregious action of the LE team and prosecutor outside of the Odin debate. All of this is correct if you ignore the identical stuff being on people's social media accounts. Clearly, they're talking about Messer, Holder.
Yeah.
You know, all the accounts. Sorry, Sonny?
Patrick Westfall as well.
Yeah. The accounts LINCARB, Lincarb, does a great job linking it back exactly as it should be explained. It's either a fantastic job to throw the cops off, or it is what it is. Again, all of law enforcement agreed at one point from top to bottom, and quite a few, including the FBI, all stuck with it. So I don't know. The F is intentionally put there. Is it an F? I don't know. But if you see it, it's intentional, whatever it is. The horns? Maybe not. If you see them alone, but the totality of all of these similarities say yes. I think the prison guards are just an unfortunate thing, but it is another example of something of the local, outside of the locals, that this Odin thing is more common than you give credit for. Rick is just an Odin magnet. I don't think the Odin stuff changes anything much for me, but the other stuff with the boys is Carroll County is a problem. I love how he ends each of these comments with like, but I still think Rick's guilty.
Yeah.
Sorry. Libby and Abby. The point was less that it is related and more, can this case get any crazier? Just say the sentence, 2 law enforcement officers involved in the investigation and polygraph of suspects in the murder of 2 young Delphi girls have both died themselves. One was gunned down outside of an FBI task force office, and the other died in a fire where the origins could not be determined.
Okay, well, Ferenczi is the one. Who's the other?
The female, the polygraph.
That's Stephanie Thompson.
Yeah. And I want to say that post is that wraps so many elements of this case up in a bow, because it's exactly why there's so much suspicion in this case, because you have these bizarre, weird things, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then we have some lawn care posts. We have there's a Libby and Abby one. Yep, I read it how they depicted it in the first time myself. It is wrong though. September 20th. No, it is believed Libby was killed. No, it was believed that Libby was killed and then dragged there by one arm but not super far. The blood on that tree is intentional. But the question is whether it is intentionally an F. I'm not sold it's an F, but I'm not sold of much of anything anymore.
Well, I mean, he's a smart dude.
Sorry, Sonny?
He's a smart dude. Like,
he is. But when I'm like using the totality of everything we know, like, and like the messages between Mark Cohen and Robert Fortson, like that were taking place also. Like, remember when they were talking about posting the F tree picture that we talked about tonight?
Yeah.
He was like, let people guess whether it's an F.
Right. I know. Right. Let people.
So, I'm seeing the origins of some of that. In these comments. Okay, September 20th. Libby and Abby, I see. I misunderstood you and them. LOL. I got it, though. Good catch. Delphi murders, September 21st. They all have a description. They didn't say they saw Rick Allen. He said he saw 3 females. We will see what he actually said once we see the tape. Because you can't believe Liggett any longer. But he didn't say he saw those 3 girls. 4, really. So there is plenty of wiggle room. Doolin's account is easily impeachable since he wrote his name wrong, used a scrap piece of paper instead of a legit statement document, and he can't remember or find the recordings of things exist. He's a mess.
True.
Libby and Abby, September 21st. Agreed. Law enforcement is a dangerous profession. September 21st. Will that prove the going from soft targets thing? But it does surprise me. Maybe the protective gear helps. I'll look so you don't have to work for me. But I'm curious what officer shot versus actually killed. Delphi trial. He caused most of the problems and why we even have to go through this. Had he done his job, then they pursue leads back then. Same can be said for Liggett to Holman, etc. I'm presuming he's talking about Dan Doolin there in the beginning.
Yeah.
Delphi trial, September 21st. He says, you think that was filed that not knowing she would be irate? I got a bridge in Brooklyn. That entire thing was exactly as it was intended, if you ask me. Boom, the person has a grasp on it. We don't know the times. Clearly, his idea of a timeline is different than the one Liggett made up. I'm going to read one more and then I'll let Sonny read for a minute. I've seen the picture. It's questionable. It looks like a guy being a total ass because he was questioned and garnered some of the details, but not the exact details. This is part of the course with his taunting hat video. I don't think it proves anything at all, though, other than he has a horrible judgment potentially. When you look at all the Odin stuff, it isn't any more damaging than the stuff potentially against Rick. It's all not great. Now the cops making egregious mistakes and outright fabricating a narrative they want from statements that don't match, that's bad, real bad. Those two things are separate to me. Regardless, there is so much oddity around this case, starting with the broad daylight abduction, that I'm going to guess it gets worse before it gets better. Eventually, all will lay their cards on the table and a jury of peers will decide. That is, unless they use other people to force a real confession.
Yeah. Oh, you aren't blocked. You were just wrong and really not credible enough to me anymore. I think people have figured out that your info is bad. Why do you think they why do you think they felt empowered to do so until they got their little dress-up game blown up? What is it with LE and prison guards wanting to be operators? They certainly are not. That usually, and I saw the one guy in question, and his waist is about 48 inches. Tubby dude. I've recently walked. Go ahead.
Really quickly, I want to answer Cheryl. Just so you know, we're going back through all of the deleted profile of Lordless Warrior, which was Robert Fortson, who took his own life in the leak investigation of the Delphi case. So it's not a conversation. We're just reading all of the comments and posts that were made by the account that was Lordless Warrior, that was Robert FORTSON.
Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah, just so you know.
Okay. I know because we're on different pages here than the actual chat and you guys. So just so you know that, okay. Okay. So why do you think they felt? No, I felt empowered. I did that one. I recently walked the entire thing from CPS lot all the way across the bridge, down the hill, across the creek to the scene, and then up and out of there to the cemetery, and then down the tree line and back to the CPS lot. I walked all of the side of the pass and all of that too. I have a video of it all to reference. Is there anything you would like to know specifically? The water was higher than the summer, but not 10 feet. I crossed it July and it was below my knee, and I only had to cross 2 feet from then said sand rock bar to the edge. Very short cross. In February, it might get to the waist in a few spots, but there is a video of guys in the water then, and it isn't that high. There are pics of the Odin patches on the officers, but I don't have those. I sent them to you in a chat. It is just a representation of what the guards were wearing, but I'm under the impression and believe that the defense has video of the guards wearing them too. They shouldn't, you are right, but I don't think that the people that just filed a Frank's motion would include that in there without evidence. I've said every elsewhere on here that I believe this is one of the traps being set. You let LE and the warden deny this, and then boom, you hit them with that evidence. Westville is a vile place in every way imaginable. Agree to disagree. It'll come out though. Should have gotten wrecked. There is a video. Bigger post here. It's tough because it's both not that remote and still remote due to the terrain. So the side that they were found on is on a private property, but it's like the furthest stretch of that person's land going the direction, and his house is further south and way up on the road. I can't attach pictures here, but his place wasn't close. You have a highway not far and 300 not far, but when you were out there, you feel like you were very isolated. It was pretty creepy out there, and there was a lot of wildlife. And I also saw a fox, deer, and a coyote at different times. That walked down to where they were, but more than that, out and up of where they were is rough. Sorry, let me read that again. But more than that, out and up of where they were is rough. It is very high climbing out of there. I'm in good shape. I hunt. I'm familiar with dealing with less than ideal conditions like this, and it wasn't an easy time out there. It wasn't bad for most of the guys I've seen tied to this case. It would be more challenging. Knowing the best route and not finding the best route would help greatly. If they truly found blood tied to the victims in the Weber's garage. Oh, is that okay? Is that where they're getting this from? Their house is the one with the long drive that goes under the bridge. Then I don't see. Is that where they're getting that from, Adam? That really hasn't been said publicly?
Well, I find it interesting that he says if they truly found blood.
Right.
So I think he might have been relating something he was told by someone that he hasn't seen proof to.
Right. Okay, so I'll finish. So if they truly found blood tied to the victims in the Weber's garage, their house is the one with the long drive that goes under the bridge, then I don't see how there wasn't more than one person involved in this. Obviously, it would make no sense that someone left and also left on 300, both sense that they are on opposite sides of the creek. The creek was very low, and I could get 2 to 3 feet of the opposite bank without getting my shoes wet at all. Then it was still below the knee as for that short cross. I wish I had went further south and checked that out better. Where I came out of the water wasn't ideal to get out because the 10-foot climb out with that was steep. I feel like there had to be a better spot to get out because once across the ground cover was a lot of stinging nettle, and I just didn't want to spend a ton of time in it. I can't share video here, and I don't do a YouTube channel. I would need to do some editing too, even if I could. Bad culture, clearly to allow this, and they either allowed it or these guys were swapping their little Velcro wannabe operator patches as they were at their posts. It's going to be bad for these guys and really bad for anyone denying it under oath. You will see. It's funny that these out of shape dorks don't show up with work, wishing they were more, tossing on patches to emulate stuff they see. One of us knows the answer, the other is going off what he thinks from his experience. Night, night. I'll also say this. I do not believe that the people search that area as well as some think in the dark. Sunset, I'll agree with that. Sunset was 6:20 p.m. that night from the Mears parking lot or the cemetery. It would have been awful for the average person to get down to where they were. Walking that whole area along the creek with a lot of people would have made sense, but getting those people down that to do that properly is much harder. If those people aren't organized by someone competent, then it leaves pockets that could be missed, especially in the dark, especially partially obscured by natural debris from that area. I'm not surprised that they weren't found that night, even if they were the whole time. Oh no, I don't think he did so unless he didn't then when we are sorry. Oh no, I think he did so unless you think he didn't then. We agree on that. I know one thing, those patches were worn in Westville by two of the named guards, period. You will too at some point. Don't forget to come back and say hi. Standing where they were found and turning from the creek to look up to the cemetery, it looks like about a 60 to 70 feet to get up there. Then there were more dips and rises to get all the way up, and with plenty of fallen tree limbs and branches in the way. Get the guillotine set up. I saw that being discussed somewhere. I'll have to look for it. It was said that the girls mixed with unknown source. I can't recall. Absolute. Absolute this. I took 4 down one by one. I could avoid that big of a change at once, but in the process, one broke in half in the storm and another split in half of a different storm. Thankfully, not damaged, and I am so glad they are gone. Wait, that has nothing to do with Delphi, people. Ignore that. They didn't when I was an arborist. That's Stepha's group, I think. They didn't because they didn't have them. They were
I knew Steffa was tied into this.
Right? Okay. They were coming from out of state, and after they found the bodies, they inexplicably called them off and didn't use them to locate any clues or try to track the path of the girls. Very frustrating mistake as well. They are using a jury pool out of a rather large Allen County. They won't have any issues. There as I work there, and the case is not being followed that way it is in the niche communities. The widespread coverage of all the cases causes problems as people's insane ability to ignore the constitutional rights of their fellow citizens. Go to many conversations on this case, and you will see a half dozen people who couldn't pick Delphi out on a map saying things like, I don't care what anyone says. WRTV told me he confessed to his wife. Nuff said, fry him. Or the bootleg, the bootleg legal scholar that probably caused after David said he admitted to being after wait what the probable cause after David said he admitted to being on the trail in the same clothes. Did he mean Richard? After David said he admitted. Oh, after David okay, said he admitted to being on the trail in the same clothes as the killer. Throw away the key. There really is no sense in trying to explain things to these people, but I think that they will get a good pool of jurors out of Allen County. I don't know. Your accomplice getting interrogated usually isn't a good thing, I would imagine. Right. You want me to keep going?
I'll let you read one more.
Okay.
I'll let you read, and then I'll read.
Yeah. Okay. It is assumed that the car presumed to be Rick's left the other direction. Now that assumes that the first time he is seen at 1:27 p.m. on Hoosier Harstore's video that he was arriving at the CPS building, which we don't know for sure. He claimed in at least video recording to his defense team that he left the area about that time. So if that is the case, and it was likely he had parked elsewhere and was leaving at that time, again, we need to see all of his interviews to know for sure. As of right now, we have narratives from the defense and Tony Liggett. One has a duty to defend their client and make the facts reflect positively on him, and the other has a problem with manipulating witnesses' statements, so neither can be taken at face value.
Okay, and then on excuse me, on September 26th in the Delphi trial subreddit, he comments, nobody would park at the old Farm Bureau building in question to access the trail, especially from where he lived. If he truly said that, then I agree with law enforcement that he meant CPS building. I have little doubt that the timeline laid out by Liggett is accurate myself. I have a lot of problems with his witness statements, but I think his timeline is likely accurate, and Rick is not being truthful if he said otherwise. If so, that lie is quite telling. Whenever I reference alternative timeline ideas, I am simply trying to represent the other side of the debate fairly and give the defense story fair consideration, even if I disagree with it. I have to see and hear stuff myself to believe it is fully, so I'm withholding full judgment until then. September 26th, then Delphi trial, he says, so the CPS lot has direct access to the trails via its connecting path to the Freedom Bridge, where the trail heads back towards the Monon High Bridge. The other building is now a co-op, or was but used to be a Farm Bureau building and is not anywhere close to where someone would access the trail. Here are applicable spots in question. I have one with Rick's alleged route scratched into. Delphi trial, I can see that, but anywhere of relevance. So he for sure didn't park there either. Delphi trial, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. But looking at it on a map and having been there are only a few places that make sense to park, and one would be the CPS building. But I have no idea why he was unsure what it was other than it was abandoned. Delphi trial, September 26th. I just ran the yellow line near where the walking path is, so it doesn't cover it, but it is direct trail near the CPS building. The Mears lot is not a lot, by the way. It's a gravel path at best where people pulled off, but calling it a lot is generous. It's also very tight, though there is a building across the street from the Mears lot right at the top of the street, so cutting through there was definitely sketchy for whoever the perpetrator was if that happened. September 27th, Delphi murders. I think that piece is a stretch at best by people wanting Ron Logan to be guilty. That stuff isn't the exact with two towers and him living right there. I'm not buying whoever is selling that idea. Excuse me.
Oh, you scared the shit out of me, man. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was like, what the heck was that noise? Okay. No. Just sitting here, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, I was like right in my ear, but I thought I didn't realize it was you coughing. Oh no.
27th. Oh no, you were right. People are saying that. I'm just not buying the accuracy of it much. Like, I don't buy a lot of stuff said, but anything works around this case. We have a guy running around beating the drum that Rick's DNA is a match to evidence at the scene when it's not. We have people claiming Rick was on camera at work at 3 p.m. that day, or that his phone was there, which both are not true. There are a lot of things said about and around this case that isn't true, that people cling to and repeat. I know I've heard what you did too, though. Read my follow-up. I knew that being said, I just questioned the accuracy of it, similar to anything out of Tony and C.O.'s mouth. I'll tell you this, Barbara's version of the sticks is accurate minus the human remains not being there, but the F is way off. It is a smeared F that appeared to be done by a gloved finger. Barbara's version of the sticks is accurate minus the human remains not being there, but the F is way off. It's a smeared F that appears to be done by a gloved finger. All right. There is no DNA or fingerprints matching Richard Allen. And then we jump to, so that went from September 29th. We then jumped to October 3rd was his next message. Sorry, I've got a cough all of a sudden. This is a ridiculous position since the stuff they are turning over was long in their possession, and they are simply hiding it. I understand Sorry, Sonny, can you read this one?
Yeah, yeah, no
Off.
problem. Yeah, I understand most here have a very little idea on how this is supposed to work, but ethically, Nick McClellan is failing and he is putting his career and the case in jeopardy. He's had a big hand from the LE working the case too in doing so. And it's inexplicable why he has let his investigators take this beating in the public if he has some smoking gun that he is holding back. That wouldn't be good either. He's basically put himself in a position where he is screwed either way because he either has next to nothing or he's withholding evidence. Believe whatever you want. I don't need to convince anyone of anything, but these guys are messing this up and right and have been for 6+ years. I think Rick Allen is BG. I also think that Ali and Nick McClellan are incompetent and putting the entire thing at risk. It's funny how they suddenly have own interest again, despite having all this for years. It's even more laughable that they found the Purdue professor the day after the defense filing. It's a sad state of affairs in Carroll County. You good, buddy? You want me to keep going? It's called scrambling, but the prosecutor and Ali to be less incompetent than they already proved themselves to be. Exactly this. They are operating in days past, and that surprise type of prosecution isn't something that should be happening anymore. The judge will feel compelled to hold the hearing if she has any integrity. So I mostly agree, but we aren't talking about good faith police work on the part of CCLE, Carroll County LE, and Nick McClelland here. They are reacting to what is being handed to them by the defense. They are reacting because the defense has called it out and shown their lack of integrity here. They have had this information for a long time, but for some reason not pursued adequately or possibly even worked against these ideas to some extent. If
Right.
if this had, I'm almost done it. If this had happened because the investigators were pursuing leads on new tips, that would be one thing. But this is a direct result of depositions and defense filings, which is not a good look for the sponge.
All right, thank you, Ever. So October 3rd says, yes, I don't understand why he didn't immediately ask for help. This is a huge case and a lot for one person, especially when that one guy is dealing with investigators that did him no favors in how they conducted themselves. However, Nick can only blame himself for what appears to be a real problem in turning over discovery as it is discovered. I don't foresee this playing out for anyone, and it makes me sick. Outside of the wrong month here, that is what they call a 10-8 round in the fight business. Ouch, that was brutal. Someone check on No Rocks. Libby and Abby, October 3rd. If Nick has good evidence outside of the stuff we currently know about, then he needs to punt and try to come back on this because they have screwed this up so much. A suppression hearing is taking place. I'm trying to confirm if it's a Frank's hearing or not. Haha, yeah, that is how it works. You might want to do a little research to understand how discovery works. Tony Liggett falsified the statements of Betsy Blair, Sarah Carborough, and Rick Allen. They weren't whoopsies. So that's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah.
Compared to like what he said in the past.
Yeah.
I found that interesting. Carborough said tan jacket and muddy. This was the Libby and Abby subreddit on October 3rd. Then they had to change it to a blue jacket and muddy and bloody. Then Betsy Blair said never saw Rick on the platform. In fact, she says she never saw Rick at all. Rick said he left at 1:30 and there is magically no audio or video of him telling Dunce Cap Dolan.
Oh, yeah. Done.
This alleged time frame. Just today, they added supplemental documentation of Holman and Liggett both knowing who the Purdue professor was and what he said, which was opposite of what they said he said under oath. This was after the submitted additional citations of cases relevant to the Frank's motion. Nothing out of any of these guys can be trusted. Nick should punt. Well, he keeps using these football references. He must have been ready for the NFL to start their season. Nick should punt. He's going to get clobbered in front of a jury, and it seems pretty clear that further shady dealings on behalf of the state are coming to a courtroom near you because there are a lot of rumors about what they supposedly have, but no mention of it anywhere. If Nick has something and he hasn't shared it, problem. If he has nothing, problem. Nick and Shane are gobbers, certain curtain jerkers. All right. If he has nothing, problem. Nick and Shane are jobbers. They're curtain jerkers. They got stuck with a case over their head.
Some of these things that he says is just.
I gotta say, I mean, I'm like, it's taking me back to middle school, and I kind of like it.
I know.
Tony Liggett falsified this. Oh wait, we already got that.
It's in fact weird. You're on your new one.
It is in fact weird that it is directly from an Indiana defense attorney. They do have to turn over discovery as they discover it. Yes, as they uncover more or anything related, as well as exculpatory evidence, it can lead right up to the trial, but they cannot be sitting on something from last November, December, or even before, and then dump that on the defense the day before trial. That is not how it works. Anything Nick has now will be heavily scrutinized for when he acquired it and why it was not turned over. The defense was smart to get this idea and topic on the playing field, as they have likely heard, as I have, that there is some stuff that should be turned over.
Hmm?
I'm going to read that. Anything Nick has now will be heavily scrutinized for when he acquired it and why it was not turned over. The defense was smart to get this idea and topic on the playing field, as they have likely heard, as I have, that there is some stuff that should be turned over.
Okay.
And that was on October 4th, which means,
Yeah.
presumably, there was something in the discovery that was turned over between September 18th and October 10th that the public has not been made aware of.
Hmm.
And that could be significant. So bookmark that in case it comes back into play. Delphi trials, October 4th. The F she shared was not accurate and should not have been shared. People are basing their opinions off of it, and it isn't a good thing. You lose all credibility when you say the bar is low to get in a Franks hearing. It's one of the most challenging motions for a defense attorney to have granted. So no, it's not a low bar by any means. Sorry. No, not when getting disbarred is being talked about. That was October 4th. Hold on, I'm going to cough.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That is not splatter.
Yeah. That is not splatter. It's deliberate. Is it an F or a I can't pronounce the
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, rune. I don't know the intent of the person that made the mark, but it could be. It could also be an attempt to make the scene weird and scary. Shame for the sticks. Same for the sticks.
Yeah.
And then okay, looks to be taken at night. With a flash to me. So I'm assuming this is after the F tree picture was released.
Yeah.
Which was released because Robert FORTSON sent it to Mark Cohen, gave him the
what we showed yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he literally even gave him the title for it, and they posted it together. So that's the point we're at now, when he says, it looks like it was taken at night with a flash to me, and then he says, I've seen it. Sorry. Then we go into him. Then he jumps into the Moscow murders.
And the music. So really, October 5th was his last posting, or was there more?
No, there was it the last one?
Yeah, like that. We're at the top now.
Yeah.
That's why I said October 5th earlier, because that's what I remember seeing was October
Well,
5th or 6th.
yeah.
I want more. I want more. But yeah, so I guess that's where it stops, eh?
Yeah, I mean, who knows if they're private messages, but those are not, of course, going to show up on something like that website.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I've got a tickle in my throat now.
Yeah, it sucks. Oops. That so let me just go to Alexa quickly. Alexa, are you awake? You awake, Alexa?
Yes, I am. Oh my God. I
Okay.
said, I came to say hi. Wow.
Oh, you didn't have to stay the whole time.
No,
You know,
no,
I'm
no.
so sorry, Alexa.
No, it's okay. No, no, no. You know,
I'm not. I'm
it's
not
okay.
Alexa. Yeah, but no. So, what do you think of all that you heard? Just
Wow,
a
it's,
summary,
I
really.
know. Well, it's hard I mean, I'm not as, I mean, I don't know everything that you guys have read and all the stuff that has come out because I've been out of the loop a little bit, but very interesting. I mean, one is very interesting how personal he takes this, and I'm wondering
Yeah.
why did he take this so personal? Because I mean, I never seen him in any, I mean, that I know, in anywhere, like in YouTube or anything. So very
Seems like
interesting.
he was more of a Reddit guy, and
Yeah,
message.
and I'm not a Reddit person. I mean, so yeah, so
Me
I guess
neither.
that's probably what it is. But it's interesting to me why such a deep interest. It almost gave him like power to know. It's almost like he knew stuff and it gave him a little bit of power identity to go there and kind of challenge people,
Yeah.
which I find very interesting. Um what things stood up to me? Let me there was one thing. Hold on, I think I wrote some notes. Go to Adam, and there was one thing. Where is it? Did I write it down?
Yeah, Ivy Rose, I agree. He sounds like a very normal guy. Um, Not that it should make a difference, but it makes him more human. Yeah, I mean, there was a point there when Adam was reading, and
Mm-hmm.
I got that vibe that went through me because, this man took his life,
Yeah.
whether it was the catapult, that's how I deem it as, but that's just my speculation because I can't see why someone would just, would take their life over this unless they had some previous, things going on. But either way, this seems to be at least at the minimum a catapult to what had
Mm-hmm.
transpired. And, again, some people keep talking about the pictures, but, this man literally took his life after talking with Ellie. He tried to call Mark Roberts. Mark didn't answer. And next thing you know, this gentleman took his life, felt the need to. Very sad. So I felt that as Adam was reading, because this was a human that was sitting here talking, typing with people, very normal conversation, very level headed. And in fact, yeah, I mean, I appreciated his writings, to be honest. They're, like I said, very,
He,
well thought out, just like Fig's video earlier, same thing. You
you
listen to it and you're
know,
going,
he seemed very human. He seemed very intelligent. He seemed very articulate. Um, and like that, first I don't know why, but that like Labor Day, like when I said something about like cracking a beer,
yeah,
and then I saw that like that post was Labor Day weekend. There
mm-hmm,
was just something so like American, like patriotic, because he was a veteran that like hit me that I was like, oh, it literally,
I know, yeah,
and I'm not even that person. I'm not that person that's like sentimental in that way, but something really struck me with that. So I was like, it
you're a Cancer,
I had to take a pause.
yeah. And so, Alexa, did you figure out what you were gonna?
No, but I see. I hate to say this because I mean, but you know how I am. I have to be honest, and if not, I Can't do it
Absolutely.
other way. I mean, I understand this person died, and I mean this with all due respect, and I don't want to say anything bad because I know people, he was dead. But it's like anybody that dies, when you die, everybody's wonderful and this and that. And not that it's anything bad, but I do find him a little bit obsessive. I mean, I'm just trying
Yes, with the
to.
case.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
very
Absolutely.
obsessive. Like, I'm trying to think, what led him to that point and why did he take this case so seriously. But it's
Right.
almost
It
like it
wasn't
became an
just this one.
obsession. Yeah, I know he was into the Moscow. Yeah, I saw the other ones too.
But I don't feel like he's any different than a lot of people out there for like,
Before I saw any of these posts, the word that was described to me, the word that was given to me describing him was true crime fanatic.
oh, well, maybe true crime fanatic. Just was
Yeah.
totally into his true crime. He sounded, and what's his background? Because he sounded almost like he almost was a lawyer type of thing. The way he was talking, like he came off sounding like he
No,
knew a lot.
he was military.
I know, but he came off sounding like he knew a lot about the like Frank's motion, idiot. Look it up. It's not my fault you don't understand, simpleton type of thing, and stuff like that. So he seemed to be very knowledgeable. I guess that's probably from following cases and probably getting a good
Or
grasp.
or being handed information from
Well, that too.
a friend that had graduated law school.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, it's really late for you guys over there
Yeah.
on there.
144.
I was gonna say,
He
oh,
did.
like,
He did Celt. He was smart, and he had. I mean, even without it. I mean, I think he said himself he had a good degree from a major university, but that he was the most intelligent in something that he had no degree in, which
right,
I think can be said for a lot of people. Just because you have a degree in something doesn't mean that's what you're the smartest thing in.
right, yeah, in there. Um, Alexa, we just quickly, are we doing what you call it tomorrow? Is tomorrow Friday? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Are we doing Rex Hewerman tomorrow? Do you know?
Mm, I don't know. Do you want to do it? It's up
No,
to
we'll
you.
do it, but it's just a
Uh,
matter of how you're feeling and
I'll be right
stuff.
back.
I mean, I still can't hear anything. I have to be like this all the time.
Well, I just
I
want to
mean,
know if you want to postpone it. Doesn't matter to me, none at
we'll
all.
talk after. We'll talk after.
You want us to push it off?
No, we'll talk
Oh,
after the show.
yeah, okay. Yeah, husband's gonna boot me off here. It's 10:45
Mm.
right now. And you guys, thank you guys though for staying so long and going through that with us. I found it very interesting, very telling, obviously about information that was put out there. That one cracked me up, Adam, when you're like, I think we should send this to the Supreme Court, or somebody should send this to the Supreme Court.
Well,
You
yeah, I
know,
mean,
because
I could have made a Tom. I hope Tom Webster made a spreadsheet.
on there, yeah. Have any of you guys before seen this, like prior to this live tonight? Like people have put a few things out there.
I heard about this, and
Um,
somebody told me back in maybe like early September. I have to say,
Right.
mhm.
somebody told me
Well,
about
Yeah,
this.
I mean,
hearing. Yeah.
Sonny and I, Sonny nor myself do Reddit. Um,
No.
No, I read it. Or
but I mean, but we can't be the first people to like learn about this thing that you can like pull every comment. And remember, there were almost 900 comments. We only went back to July 1st.
yeah, right. And you got
Or June 30th.
June 30th. Yeah.
Um,
And you guys, hold on. I just 1 second, Adam. You guys, the links there that I keep dropping. If you guys want to go check it out yourself, just make sure where it says search for, you type in comments, and then voila, this whole thing
I'm gonna
will
start
come
looking up
up.
everyone I know now, just to see if they've deleted comments.
Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. I love how level-headed he was in his thoughts. Honestly,
Yeah.
I like that type of balance. That well, was it intentional or was it unintentional type of thing?
Well,
Yeah,
I think sorry, I don't know why I have such a tickle in my throat, but what I think one of the most telling and most thing that's resonating in my mind that I read from many of his posts were the number of times he really highlighted. At one point, he even literally said, what I'm sharing isn't necessarily what I feel.
Right.
My beliefs, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that to me is very telling because it resonated with me as I was reading his comments. There were several times I felt like he was saying two different things within his posts. One of which he would be like, well, this is this and this and this. But then at the end, he would have to throw in that, like, but this is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And that's my interpretation. And I could be wrong, but that's how I felt and how I took it.
For Ivy, didn't
but I
we
do
answer
feel like
it?
he was very articulate and very intelligent. And I'm glad we did this because like I said, I've had these posts since the beginning of September, like you said, or since September 11th, and
I didn't.
or October 11th. I'm sorry, and I've not read them all until tonight. I've read most of them, but not all of them.
I was gonna say because I'm confused because I was saying if you tried to go back to see when he seemed to started having inside info, well, you could actually see that in the progression of what Adam was reading and I.
Right.
Which
Ivy, did you not start with us tonight?
I know. Did she not start with us?
Especially when Adam started saying, what was happening, and then what we now know, and then we go back and you read and okay, this came out, but he had already said it like a week prior.
Right.
I think
it was towards that beginning of August, end of July area.
Yeah,
Ivy.
And to me, the first post that we have any indication that he had inside information was July 5th. Because that's the date he randomly said Richard Whiteman, which was not something anyone had mentioned at all until September 18th, when during the memorandum, the ex-defense team said that's how the Dan Doolin thing got mixed up, was that the name was listed as Richard Whiteman.
Yeah. So Ivy's job now is to go back through those posts and you screenshot the important ones, and then I'll have my people contact your people and do a live again on it. Sound good? Come on, Ivy. Come on, you're up for the challenge. Let's do it. Okay? We put our time in. Now you got to do yours. Yeah. That's what being a friend is, yeah? Anyways, I am so hot. So my husband's needs to go to bed. So I hate that we didn't have some more time to discuss more with you, but we dropped
more time. It's 4 hours, Sonny.
Oh shit! I already did a 4-hour live today. Oh, okay. Well, but I just felt bad because Alexa came on and now she's here and we didn't really talk to her too much. That's what happens when you get blacklisted like you were, Alexa.
People are gonna believe you.
I wish that
what happened? Why haven't you been? Are you okay? Are you talking to Sunny? And I'm like,
we get those questions if you're gone for 2 days, Alexa.
Yeah.
But it's never. But it's usually, what have you done to piss her off? Like why? what has Aspen and Sunny done to make Alexa leave?
Yeah, it's not what has Alexa done.
No,
Sunny never.
I'm like, well, she hit Sunny in the face, but no.
I had a turkey.
No. But I will say, I feel bad because I'm like said, now that I'm like, well, I've had these for so long. I'm like, we could have done this live a month ago.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry that my partner didn't let me know about these things, or else.
No, but even somebody, I think mid-September came into your chat room. I forget who it was, and she said it. She actually said.
Oh, you're talking about Wonder Girl?
One of the, I don't remember who it was, but she mentioned this.
I think and see, I'm just not a Reddit person, so I don't pay attention to some of this stuff. And I don't have, and honestly, with working full time and all the other stuff, it's hard to,
People seem angry over there. I don't know. I mean, seriously.
The first time I looked at this, I saw almost 900 comments, and I'll be honest, I was like,
yeah, you were like,
oh, I was like, I don't have time to look at all that right now.
Yeah. So
and
I did.
Weeks went by.
Yeah, I probably had the time. I probably did. I know. That's walk of shame. Walk of shame, Adam. No. Anyways, no. I mean, everything happens when it happens. But, as long as we're not too late to the party on there. So that was interesting. Anyways, regardless. Hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving over there in the United States. Again, I'm from Canada. For anyone that comes across this, Vancouver, Canada area. So it was your guys' turn this time.
Right.
Do you want to say something?
Ivy, I'll send you the link.
Oh,
Sorry.
I sent the link so many times. I'll drop it again.
To that website.
Is she not watching our live tonight? I feel like she's been doing other things. Little, you think? Or is it more of this? Yeah.
Little Thanksgiving Day's dessert.
Yeah. Because the things that she's asking, I've put that in there about 5 times, Ivy. Yeah, I have it. Oh, there you go. But anyways, yeah. So anyone that does want to go read it and go read even about the Idaho discussion by Jance and stuff like that, that would probably be an interesting read that I'll go back to.
And hey, and have you seen these Reddit posts anywhere else?
That's what I asked you. That's why I was asking people. I don't know. I don't
Really lives have been titled Reddit posts, but you didn't see these
on there. Well, I was going to say because I mean, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to what other people are doing, to be honest with you.
Well, no, I don't either.
But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed it all. Alexa, do you want to say anything before we head off?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, it was just nice seeing you guys. I'm glad you guys have a happy Thanksgiving to you.
You look gorgeous.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think people thought that you didn't want to come on and see us anymore.
I got a few of those. They're like, what happened? Like, why are you not coming anymore? No, honestly, I was just a little burned out. I think, I burned myself out. And then between getting 2 colds in 1 month and then this ear infection, I had it for like a week and a half now. It's been crazy. So,
well, I appreciate you. And I wish we had more time on this one. But if you want, so are we doing Rex Human tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to. I mean, we'll talk.
I don't want to. Yeah, you can't do that to me because I only want to do it if you feel up to it. If not, it's me and Adam on the stripper pole. You know that.
No one wants that, Sonny. No one wants that. So we're doing Rex Human tomorrow.
I'm sure most of the people would like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's set it for Rex Human tomorrow. We'll do that one and do a bit of an update on what's going on there a bit. Because remember the pen pal thing that you sent me? Well, a little.
Alexa, I know nothing. I'm not up to date. I'm going to be honest. I'm not up to date on the Rex Human case.
Adam, could you make yourself useful tomorrow and look at it?
No, I can't. But I want to ask Alexa one thing. Is there a connection between the CW documentary happening in Delphi and the producers of that, and the producers doing something with
the wife?
Yes.
Yeah, very interesting, right? She got paid allegedly $1 million to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, save it for tomorrow, but I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because I picked up on something about that, and I'm like, I want to know more about that.
So inquiring minds want to know.
I'll forget about it by then, but just remind me tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, you guys take care. We're gonna head off here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Charmaine, for the 10 memberships, and congratulations to the people that got them. Alexa, thank you for your $1 million contribution tonight. That was amazing. But I'm still gonna do YouTube for a while. I don't think that will do me. It won't buy my island yet. No. Anyways, you guys take care. Love you very much. Have a good one. And last time I'm going to say this, happy Thanksgiving to the people.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yes. Gobble, gobble, this gobble. Is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.